dedicated to the radio, not he or she, because it's time for them to get recognized. This is my version of the Nobel Peace Prize. That's why I'm coming out my face like this. Far as negativity, you never get this. If it wasn't for you, nobody would know. That's why this is something for the radio. This rhyme is dedicated to the radio DJs to play all the hits on 7 days. And even on the weekends, the DJs will be freaking without a doubt, because everyone is unique in the way they cut the records and be talking. It sounds doodle extra crazy deaf on a Walkman. To all the disc jockeys that's on the go, this is something for the radio. And this is on the radio. And this is on the I'd like to thank all the people state to state for requesting my records on the radio. Greatly appreciate what you've done for me. And my report to you is my MUSIC. Straight up, I make the music just for you, so you can do the extra crazy biz small dance too, or even do the dance made up by yourself, as long as you use good physical health. Because you're the one to make the radio hype, like fresh tobacco and a brand new pipe. A program director always pick the right hits, like putting some salt and pepper and butter on grits. I always look up the program directors, cause they're the ones the jam selected. A couple of years ago when I didn't have a record playing on the radio, I thought to myself saying, if I ever get the chance to play on my stuff, I'm gonna make everything extra tough. Cause radio will last to infinity, as long as my name is the B-I-Z, Evans the A-R-K, and I'm here to say, #1 entertainment source in it like USA. Cause if it wasn't for you, nobody would know. That's why this is something for the radio. Of just the beginning of hip-hop on the radio and its never-ending story and fighting just to get the right and have our respect on the station. That's exciting. In about 2 years I will be a superstar, be able to buy anything I want, even a car. Cause if it wasn't for you, nobody would know. That's why this is something for the radio. You know, I just like to say it like this. All right, good evening. All right, good evening all. Hope you well. Hi, Rushma. Hi, Irish. Just wait a few people to come in. Bit of a short decision to do a show tonight, actually. I wasn't going to do one, but be with Dale. I'm going to do Grenfell Tower.
I'll wait for Dill to come. And we should have a nice little stream, actually. Really, I should have advertised it. So that will be cool. But just wait for Dale and wait for a few people to come in because I wasn't going to do a show, but I am doing one now. I hope you will. It's very hot today. What's been going on, people? Come on, Irish. What's been going on today? You lighting us before we go? So, I think it's been a while now since the fire of the Grenfell Tower. And I do believe there's some wrongdoing here. I don't know if it was racial or anything, but I I really do believe it was set alight on purpose. But I think people were saying no, it's not impossible. Um, but I don't think it's that. I think Dell will bring a few things on with it. Easy, my brain cells are hot. I thought you when you was in Brian's cell, Rashma. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what. Have you got a brain, Rashma? I ain't, mate. I know it's hot tonight, isn't it? So yes, if anybody's out there is just seeing this thing, if you want a long drama subject tonight, come in. I know there's only 7 watching. Big up the 7, hit the like. Yes, it was advertised well. Put your head in cold water, mate. Or eat an ice lolly. And I think it's going to be a good show. Did you get 3? Hello, Tank. Who's Tank? Pick up who you are. Did I get 3 drinks? From where, mate? Anyway, welcome to the channel. Oh, hello, Top G. Oh, it was you, Top G. Oh, thank you very much, sir. What are you laughing at, Irish? You lot are confusing me changing your names everywhere, you know. I don't know where I am. I wish you stay on your own profiles. Anyway, yeah, so Grenfell Tower, I'll be waiting for Delta to come in. What's Irish laughing about? She's been drinking. No, not all about you, Rashma. Not you. But what about Tank? He's Top G. He's changed his name to Tank. Oh, yeah. You got drunk with me the other day, Irish. I'm only joking, mate. Anyway, yeah, Irish, that vid is definitely gone now. And go and look on some certain channels. They've been hiding all their stuff now, Irish. It's good, isn't it? Yeah, so we're going to go through the Grenfell Tower. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come in, actually, because just going to wait No, I've forgotten what they're like, to be honest with you. Just gonna wait for Dale because I think he deserves a bit of an audience as well. But just see if we get some more coming in for the notifications. Cool, and so we're done. I'm not doing late one tonight because I am tired. I wish I didn't do that drama one yesterday, but you know. Oh, Irish, she's Rashma saying you look old for your age. No, she said you don't look old for your age. I think Irish is only in her 40s. Russia, we've never seen her. Mm. You know, with yeah. Hi, Malibu. I hope you're all right. Are you live? Are you maybe because you're streaming too much, Malibu? I'm fine, mate. I'm good actually. Because I talk loud, that means I'm getting angry, you know, yesterday. That's the way I am, mate. How are you feeling better, mate? Oh, thanks for the likes. Maybe take a break from streaming, Malibu, because you've been doing a lot. Yeah. But don't wear yourself out. I think it's working though, mate, isn't it? You look like you've got a good unit there helping you out there. Yeah, that's what you got to do, mate. Don't do too much of it. You're going to wear down because I feel like you were getting tired by listening to you. Just try and switch off for it. Listen to some music, get back, watch the TV or something. I know it's hard though, because you get that bug, don't you? Get that bug for streaming. Yes. Yeah, you have, mate. You got them here, got them on yours. Now just sit back and relax. Let them do the worrying. Can't do it all, my mate. Let me explain about the show tonight, Malibu. It's about a fire that happened in West London about 4 or 5 years ago. A big tower block. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it was about this a tower block in West London which killed a hell of a lot of people. It had cladding. Um, and we was a bit suspicious how it happened, that fire. Oh, yes, I am. How you doing? Yeah, believe it or not, Malibu, my parents lived in them flats when I was a very young baby before they moved. Yeah, yeah. So I really wanted to get that. I'm just waiting for Dell to come on and let's see what's happening. And then we'll get the show on the road. Hello, yes, I am. Big up. I am, thank you, sir. And you, yes, I am. Oh, it's I know who you are. Okay. Hello, mate. You're right. Um, I think we know who he is. He's okay. He's okay. I don't want to say it out loud, Rashma, because I think he wants to keep it. Thing. Yeah, very old building, Malibu. Yeah, they're for like council. Like I think you called it social housing in your country. So it's like council house where people just can't where they're put, and yeah, basically that's what it is. But what we found out during the fire, though, Malibu, most of the people who had them places were subletting them. So the ones who were supposed to be tenants weren't actually in there. It was people they were subletting to, which is against law. And I think, and then, and you know, there's been a lot of. Uh, so, as we they were claiming false claims. There's been a lot of right mess up, and nothing's been done really. But there should have been money done to sort them out ages ago, and then we had this fire. But what I'm doing is questioning. Well, Tank, you know, was it was a setup. The blokes. Tank, this is what I'm questioning tonight. Um, Dale's got some very interesting stuff he's going to bring up. Um, I know he wanted to do this show with me. He'll be here in a minute. And yes, interesting stuff. And this is what I think. I think it was done deliberately as well, Tank. It's all much too much of a coincidence. Right. I'm just going to put some music on while we wait for Dale. I'm just going to go and get a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, I should say. Seaside Mark, hello. I hope you behave yourself tonight. Uh, you be nice to my co-host tonight, Seaside. Okay. Right. I'm just waiting. Oh, I'm just going to make a drink quick. Right, back peeps. Right. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the Grenfell Tower, and yes. All right. I stop loading, Mark. Remember, you'll be warned. Hi, Teresa. Just wait for Dale to come on. He might fell asleep. Thanks. But we will be doing this for him in a while. Person who's donated to me, thank you very much. It's very appreciated. Thank you very much. Hello, Dale. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. I was just doing something. I've just got a couple of things that have come up. Things always happen when I'm on rails. But yeah, I'm all right. How are you? You okay?
Oh yeah, I'm chuffed. I'm early.
Yeah, and I'm late.
No, you're not. No, you're not, mate. I just played some music beforehand anyway. So where do we start now?
Oh gosh. I mean, a lot of people have. I'll pull up a couple of things and then I'll let you get start. I think I'll start with this. Is just some interesting things about Grenfell in terms of numerology and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with numerology first, and just see what you think of that. And then I've got a few more things, and then we can get started. Okay, so I need
Right, if anybody, any newcomers, this is Dale. Comes on very knowledgeable with a lot of stuff. We've got Bellevue here from America. She's is listening in, and she knows about the Grenfell Tower. Yeah, and
so go on.
So yeah, we've got some newcomers. So yeah.
All right, so we're going to look at some numerology to start with. I need to share screen, easy.
Yeah, it's ready, mate. Already.
It's not.
Oh, right. I always put the wrong one on. Okay, got it now. Is that all right?
Yeah, you've done it now.
Thank you for coming on, Dill. Right, let me get this on. I shouldn't get copyright with this anyway. I don't think. No.
So, can you hear me?
I can.
So this is interesting. That's something I find. So it's geometry. I'll share the link in the effect afterwards. But
okay.
The Great Fire of London, 1666. There's always seems to be rituals and stuff. So 201 days after the Pope's birthday, Fabio Chigi. So you can see here, this is all linked with the Grenfell stuff. So Great Fire of London. So it's 201 days before the Pope's birthday. You can see here the London's burning thing. They've always got this theme of London's burning going on and the fires.
Yeah.
So you can see here, you're going to just link all the numbers up to start with, because it links to Grenfell. You'll see it in a second when it goes through. So you've got Jesuit order. These are that I call them the Dark Roman cult, and these are the ones who would do all these ritual stuff. And I think this way, like with 9/11 and stuff like that. I think all these rituals always seem to happen on these kind of numbers. The Catholic Church. So you've got setting of the world's fire and the anti-Catholicism and the Great Fire of London. So you can see here. And I'm going to touch it further in this next article I've got as well. So viewers of ITV's The Great Fire, which concludes this week, will have seen the unfolding conspiracy theory in which the finger of blame for the Great Fire of London is pointed directly at Catholics. This is not purely dramatization. There is no shortage of anti-Catholic sentiment in the 17th century in England, not least because of the 5th of November 1605 historian Thomas McCoog, SJs, surveys the religious and political landscape in which Catholics, particularly Jesuits, became prime suspects in the Great Fire of London. So that's the first part. I'm going to link it into the Grenfell one, and you'll see in the next thing. So you've got this is the side of it. So you've got 1907 is the anniversary of the Freedom Day in England, which was comedy. And Boris, comedic about Boris in his nonsense Johnson, aware more restrictions to do with the COVID. So it says, I have the feeling that would do some sort of Grenfell Great Fire tribute on 9/17, and hid behind the fact that SMM were telling us all week that would be the hottest day of the year. So about the heating. So on the 200th day of the year, Grenfell was Trump's, because it's not Trump's, birthday, leaving 200 remaining days or so, or 201, which is linked to the bit that's just showed at the top. The headline, 1917, London's burning, 200. Grenfell was 80 days from the anniversary of the Great Fire of London, and 80 is a ritual. It's the number 8, which is, I refer to it as God's number, which is when they do their occult magic. So it's interesting, it's 80 days before, and it's good. It was also 81, span of 81 days ritual, and the number of the beast. Grenfell, 1318 in Jewish, and the Great Fire of London, 666. We know about that, all the 666 stuff. And the 603 score 6 on 146. And Grenfell on the 14th of the 6th, in June 14. The 1456. The Great Fire of London in 1606 emphasizes the last 3 digits, incidentally also known as the Roman numerals added together using the numeral values, not geometry, as adequate to 1666, which is that date you see on the a lot of these corporations. That one there, this one here, you tend to see that date, and it's encoded on a lot of the buildings, and you see that quite often. So that was just the first part of numerology. So I think it's like with 9/11 and 7/7. They always seem to do these rituals on certain dates. So when if you look into what I think it's Dr. Nick Callistrom, I think he did some good work on 7/7. And I don't know if you heard a guy called Peter Weiser.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no. A guy called Peter Weiser. So basically, they were talking about and when 7/7 actually happened, it just so happened that they happened to be doing drills on the underground. So it just so happened that the emergency services were doing drills on that day. So make of that what you will, but that shows you that somebody was putting people up on games, so they knew all this was going to take place. So they had a feeling about all this stuff in regards to the incident itself. Now that's just the first part, and I'm going to let you just jump in and talk a little bit. I'll share that link in a minute for people to go and read it a bit more, the article. But go ahead, I'm just going to put the link in the chat.
All right. So do you think it's a big coincidence this has happened in Del? Like, it seems like it's like a circle where it's meant to happen.
I think it's ritualistically, yes, definitely a ritual, like they did with 9/11. Like you'd have 7/7, like this. You keep to see these kind of blood sacrifices events where people have been sacrificed. Is that a theme that's going on? I'm talking about the same thing, like 9/11, that same kind of type of theme that went on. And obviously, if people look into that heavily, this. If you look at the dates of the World Trade Center, I think it was built like from 1977. The dates that were all built on it's not coincidence. You get me?
So are you saying that then this is all because their lease is up of something, and then of the land?
It's more how they keep themselves in power, doing blood sacrifices. It's all about a power and control thing. I've seen that with all these events. Obviously with 9/11. A lot of people in certain communities knew that we got tipped off on it, so they didn't go to work that day. But it's definitely a blood sacrifice. You see it all the time with these rituals that go on, and you see it with these buildings. So our 9/11 was Grenfell Tower, or the Grand Falling, like Grenfell, Grand Fall. So that's what I think it's linked to. I think it's all the occult magic.
Because I know Sadiq Khan refused to put money in, didn't he?
It's not about money, it's about the ritual side of it. I want to get on them. That's what I was talking about. That's the most important thing for me, is that you keep seeing these events where people are being sacrificed. 9/11, people sacrificed. 7/7, people sacrificed. Grenfell or Grand Fall, people sacrificed. Yeah, and I think that's and you see it in these events. The same thing that's happening recently in Hawaii, in that Maui event. Same thing. There's like well over 2,000 children that are missing. You need to see these events where people are burnt in fires and they all go missing. Grenfell missing in fires, burnt up. 9/11 missing in fires, burnt up. 7/7 blown up. It's the same themes going on. If you see what I'm saying, that's what I'll get on together. So that's the part I was making.
So because they haven't recovered all they never did recover all the bodies from Grenfell, have they?
No.
Which is mad. So what do you reckon they're doing the sacrifices for?
With all this stuff, well, the Jesuits are known for the occult magic side of it. It's to keep themselves in power, or the last espers of I refer to as the Piscean construct. So when people are being sacrificed, it's always about control and keeping everybody at a low vibration. And you see that with these events. That's why they're so traumatic. And you hear of all these tragedies and these traumatic stories that went on. Same in 9/11, the same kind of trauma happened. Grenfell or Grand Fall, the same kind of trauma happened. Same thing with what's going on in Maui at the moment, and same thing with 7/7. And you see these sacrifices periodically. They always seem to happen at certain times during the year, like the months of Jason. So July through till November, the months of Jason, and it's when they do their blood sacrifices. And you see it go on. We're coming up to one shortly at 9/11. In fact, funny enough, it's the 8th or the 9th now, but tomorrow's the 9th. So it's 9/9 tomorrow. So they tend to do stuff on the numbers, and it's how they keep themselves in power. So it's the occult side of it, definitely. You know, 7/7, 9/11. You've seen these dates seem to pop up when they'd have these rituals. It's seen the same that type of numbers that keep coming through, which means it's been done on purpose to resonate a certain vibration and energy. And that's all I want to say. But let other people get involved. But yeah, but that's how I see it.
Hang on, I'll just get on there. Sorry, I'm just had a... Right, that's all right. It's working now. Right, let's have a look. Right, see what questions we got. Have anybody got any questions? My friend was married. Oh no, hang on. Something. Were they deplatformed or like David Icke? They're asking if they're a different. That's Phil saying we. So do you reckon? I think. All right. They're just listening at the moment, Dale. I'm waiting for some questions to come in, actually. Do you think then, when you get, did they just give me a thought with David Icke? Yeah, I've never listened to him, to be fair. Do you reckon they deplatformed him because he's touched a nerve on a few things in the past?
I think he's a double agent. I think he plays both sides to the middle. Bobby Hemmett exposed him, yeah. I think
what do you mean double agent, Dale?
Meaning that basically he gets information from both sides. It's obvious what a double agent is. He's working for both sides. Trump's a double agent. He's working for both sides. That's what I refer to as a double agent. So somebody who tells the truth, but is part of the club. So I tell the truth, but I'm not part of their club. Whereas David Icke has got some links into the establishment, even though he tried to make out that he's not. I think he's a double agent. I think he's got some good connections. So it comes out with some factual information. I agree with quite a lot of things that he talks about, but I do think he's got connections into the club. So it's like controlled opposition. That's how I see him, as controlled opposition. But he does. But the information he gives you alludes to the real things that are going on. Whereas a lot of people won't talk about what he talks about. So yeah, he's a double agent, and you often get people that are double agents. It's quite normal.
So going on to the Grenfell Tower then, what sacrifices were they doing, do you think, then, to cause this fire? Was it a problem to get rid of a community?
Well, you've got two aspects of it. The aspects that we see of it, the aspects that I see of it is the occult side, which is what we're going to talk about, which we've been speaking about. But the other side of it in London, because London's so expensive for real estate, it's what's called I don't know if you heard it, it's called gentrification, where people have lived in certain areas, and these areas are now very valuable, and they need to get people out of those areas so that they can sell the land off or sell land or council housing in around those areas off to private developers and make millions and hundreds of millions of pounds. So, and that's happened in London multiple times in areas, especially in those type areas where it's near Kensington. It's very expensive. So they don't want people to have council housing in Kensington because, you know, if the council can have those flats, they can sell them for millions of pounds because they're worth a lot of money. So that sort of area of London where that took place, all those areas, it's very valuable. It's near Notting Hill. It's very valuable real estate. So the gentrify areas, so they have to get rid of people, so they take them out. So there's that aspect as well.
Yeah, I know that aspect of that area. I was brought up near there. So I see now my query about the start of that fire, right? It's all right. It had cladding on the side of it, but the fire started in the middle of the flats. It didn't start on the side. Do you see what I mean? The actual fire was actually growing from the middle of the building. So yeah, it floors them saying about. I think they said a fridge blew up or something. Well, come on, we know with a fridge, it blows. If the generator blows, it's not going to cause a fire because it's just got like air, really, isn't it? And very rarely the plug will get caught alight from that, from the fridge, because of the generator. So it's, you know, the generator's not done by any petrol or anything. It's just flow from the electricity, but through the air of the generator. So how the fucking hell they're saying that got caught on fire from that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem possible unless the plug was unsafe. The sockets.
Yeah, no, these buildings have got obviously safety controls in place. So yeah, I think it's more of the fact that they've done a that ritual side of it. I definitely agree with you. It's more on that side of it than anything else. There's too many there's too much astrological signs that it's clear that there's some sort of ritual that's gone off. And it can't be the way that we've been told it is. So I'll agree with you on that front.
Teresa said they have got gas. Yeah, they have got gas, but not for enough, Teresa, for that to happen, to take a whole tower block down. Mickey, I did fucking warn you. You just have to behave yourself. You've got one more chance here. Yeah, you're really well. Do you know what, Mickey? Bye. Yeah. I want to have a decent conversation. You've been a prick. All right. Yeah. So, would you, Dale? How do you reckon that started then?
I just think, well, however, in regards to how it started, it's more about its outcomes. So, regards of whatever they did to start it off, whoever. I don't think it's not. I don't think it started by accident. I don't think it was just accident. I do think it was purposeful. How it started, I can't say because there's too much there's too much areas where you can question it. What I do know is it wasn't an accident. That's what I do.
I'm going to see if I can find the start of the fire on there. Yeah.
Well, I've got something else I'm going to share with you before you do that.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Okay.
I've got still some more stuff to show you, so I'll get in on that. So let me get in on this and see what you think of this now. So this is another part I'm going to share. So let's have a look at this. So let's have a look at Grenfell. So you've got the tower here. You've got obviously the people here who got taken out, the missing victims. So that's Grenfell or Grenfell. So let's see about Grenfell fire conspiracy theory. So let's find out. So this is a rundown of some of the conspiracy theories out there in relation to Grenfell Tower on June the 14th, 2017, as well as people have done some good research. So let's have a look at the article. So let's have a look. We'll go into the little bit now. So it cannot be defined as mentioned in videos. There are suspicious circumstances surrounding the tower fire, including leading up to it, during it, and after it. So let me preface by saying to keep an open mind about the word conspiracy because it gets a bad rap out here. Well, we've always know about that. There is both bad and good theory out here, but it's very important to broaden your mind to the possibilities and look outside the outside of the mainstream box being presented to us. Yep. So let's find out what's said. So political agenda. So interesting fact about the date of Grenfell Tower or Grand Fall in Grenfell right, is that it happened to be Donald Trump's their Trump card birthday on that day. Some people are suggesting that the date was picked on purpose as a kind of statement, ritual, or revenge tactic. So let's have a look. So let's look at the insurance payout. So it says, see below, the Trump is depicted sitting on a globe on the Judgment Tower, the Trump card, Judgment Tower card on the Economist magazine in 2017. Right next to the tower, representing grenfall or grenfell. So let's look at insurance payout. So another fact has been dug up that there will be a huge insurance claim for grenfall or grenfell tower 3 months before. Listen, 3 months before the fire. The insurance was suspiciously changed to include human casualties. So there you go. So let's have a look at Lord Grenfell.
The Illuminati government.
Interesting. Grenfell was named as Grenfell Saint after the historic Field Marshal, British officer commander. You can see he's got the Knights of Malta gear on here, so it's definitely ritual.
Yeah.
In Chief Major General Francis Wallace Grenfell, the first Baron of Grenfell, 1841 and 1925. He was awarded, listen, this is key here, Knight Saint, appointed the Knight Grand Cross, the Saint Order of Saint Michael and Saint George, and the Order of the Bath. So he's a high-level Freemason. You can see he's in his regalia here, and his regalia there. So he's a high-level. So he's a link to Freemasonry, which we were just talking about, secret societies, special doors, and order of reference. So that's interesting about Grenfell or Grenfell. Could be some kind of ritualistic tribute to Baron Grenfell. Also, see further below that Lord Grenfell or Grenfell was a character in the movie Dark Tower, an eerie omen and linked to Grenfell in more ways than one. You see the Illuminati.
That's interesting.
So some believe that the government groups of people are behind the Grenfell fire incident. Many people feel adamant that there are slaves in an oppressive system. Now that's definitely true in the Sesta AKV. That's definitely true. And that secret elite, a group of wealthy families and individuals, are secretly controlling things behind the scenes, meaning the Menace Hair Khazarian Bankster cults are referred to it as. From the shadows, these people like to leave signs hidden in plain sight. People have been given terms associated with the Illuminati and associated groups. This is also about fake news, which includes major mainstream broadcaster, the BBC, and other media outlets that are said to be controlled mouth puppets for the elite. Some people are drawing connections. This is something I mentioned earlier. Possible links to the case of satanic ritual of sacrifice, definitely grandfalling, missing children, and I talked about the Maui recently incident where missing children went missing, and a possible link to pedophilia and child sacrifice. Known for that. And the same thing in Maui, 2,000 children have gone missing. You keep seeing this stuff that happens. Tarot card, so you can see the tarot card. Look.
Yeah. Wow.
What was that just happened? That link? What was that noise?
Oh, it's all right. I was just giving you a message.
All right. So the tarot card in reference to 9/11. So you can see the grandfalling or Grenfell. So you might not like it or believe it, but it's fine. But just like you can attribute 9/11, the tower card in traditional tarot, the card also bears a stark, striking resemblance to Grenfell Tower. You need 9/11 into article here, but I won't have to go in on that yet. Uncanny thing. Go on.
I'm just coming back. When was 9/11? Was 9/11?
September. It's nearly now. It's nearly been to 22 years.
22 years. So I'm saying the Grenfell Tower was what year?
2017 is 6 years ago in June, just gone.
And it weird as well. Like certain things, well, it's kind of similar. It was a tower block thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, you see the tarot card there. Yeah, bringing down the grandfall, and I refer to the grandfall. So I keep saying grandfall. So I definitely think it was a ritual. The uncanny thing is that putting the 9/11 article in my June 2017 newsletter, which it was a month when the fire was to happen. So the 9/11 references, then the articles there, I won't touch it. I'll also let people if they want to look at it themselves. One person did some online map measurements and worked out that the BBC building is exactly 911 yards from the Grenfell Tower. That'll be interesting to look that up. So I'm not sure if that's the case because even I don't not sure. But let's have a look at this.
Say that again, Dill. I'll look it up now.
Apparently, it was the BBC building is 911 yards. I don't know which building it will be. 911 yards from Grenfell Tower.
Yeah, it's not far from there at all.
Okay,
well,
you know that.
Hang on. Did they move from there? Wait a minute. Because they were near the White City. So the Grenfell Tower was at the White City end, Shepherd's Bush end, because you see the Westway underpass. Yeah. I think they moved to Oxford Circus by then. Okay. They weren't at the White City then.
But, all right, but they used to be. It used to be there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think they were there, and I think they just went, yeah. Go on, mate. I'll look it up now. I'll text my sister because she was working for him. Yeah.
So, uncanny predictions from The Economist magazine cover in 2017. So that's the cover there. You can see it. Planet Trump. You can see these ads on here. So over the last few years, The Economist magazine's front covers features a look at the year ahead theme through predictive symbolic imagery. The covers are said to be predictive and imbued with a kind of meaningful, magical symbolism which people have been trying to decode.
Long been associated.
Yeah. So that's the decoded, so you can see the thingy on here. So I find it highly odd that fascinating that such a right-wing capitalist mainstream economy magazine has predictive material featuring tarot cards, which have long been associated with mysticism and the occult. Even features a mystical astrological section.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little. The Economist Global Magazine is based in London, with the majority of its staff based there in the borough of Westminster, which is only around the corner from Grenfell or Grenfell. The Rothschild or Red Shield, wealthy elite generations of old, are said to be a major contender of the Illuminati bloodlines and own 50% of the Economist magazine. That'd be interesting to find that one out. The CEO is also linked to some conspiracy theory, and according to one YouTuber, has attended several Bilderberger conference meetings, secretive meetings, where the world's most powerful figures from finance, business, politics, and media discuss global politics, policies, and outcomes. So this is addition. So you can see there with the judgment. See there, look, the cards that are on. I find that quite interesting. So let's have a look at the carding. So the Economist magazine itself says that 2017 edition predicts that revolution will be in the air for 2017, citing the centenary of the Russian Revolution, as well as repercussions of Donald Trump's victory. I also noticed an article in the Economist following the Grenfell event has the following subheading: the destruction of Grenfell Tower may come to symbolize the end of an era in British politics.
Wow.
So that's what, that was so it's very interesting considering its haunting similarity to the political quote I referenced further below from the House of Cards episode of Poirot's Grenfell. You can see that's there. You can see all the political change that's going on. So
2016. So.
Yeah, so and then Trump, obviously, that's when he first got elected. Obviously, they knew he was going to be elected in 2017. So let's see if I can click on this video series and look at Grenfell. So let's have this video before I go back to the other thing. Let's see if it can on.
So are you saying this is all could be all fake then? Yeah.
No, I think it's. I do think this. I thought the whole thing's symbolic, but it's representing change. But it's how they control people. The occult rituals, how they do it. They have to put the truth out there before they do it, so that you already know about it. Yeah. So that's part of how they do it. So it's part of how it works. I don't
think you'll ever get the truth for another 30 years or so, mate. That's how it all works out, doesn't it? see what we've got in the chat. Synthetic rituals by the sounds of things. The Mason's connection is a mad steel tank. That's tank.
Just tell me stop easy.
Sorry?
Just tell me stop easy. There you go, and then say what you say.
That's it. It's all right, mate. I'm just reading out a few things. That's all. There's nothing much to say. They're just talking in jest. What's you gonna do, Del? Sorry, mate.
All right, just let me know when you're ready to continue, and I'll
ready,
start.
mate. I'm ready, mate. I'm ready, mate.
All right.
I'm sorry, I was just looking if there was any questions, because I'm looking at 3 different screens at the moment. You trying to connect to that video, Del?
Can you not see the video?
No.
I've already done it. That's interesting that it's not. So you can't see what I can see at the moment.
No. Shall I?
All right. What do you want? Go on.
Shall I start presenting that and you represent the video?
Right. What? Right. Let's go. Okay. Tell me what you can and can't see. Can you see anything at the moment?
I only can see the booklet of World in 2016.
Okay. 1 minute. I wonder why that's gone off. Okay. Right.
Maybe.
No, I'll change it. I'll put it on in a second. I'm glad you see. Should you just let me know straight away? Because I'm gonna think that's right. Just let me take it. I can change it 1 second. I'll get it ready. 1 sec. All right, I'll do it now. 1 minute. Let me just sort this out.
I think I've got to upgrade to Google second Google Meets to get the extra factions, so you can have 2 different things on the screen.
No, you're all right. I should be able to do it now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see if we can. Right. What's this bit? Right. That's that other bit. So that's what
Lodge said it's very interesting on the numbers.
Yeah, the numerology is fascinating.
It did come in there, Del, and then it went out again.
No, I took it off.
All right. Oh,
that was me. It's me. That was me. I was just doing something. I was just checking.
Going mad then.
No, it's just me. That was just me. Okay.
Do you want to come on the panel and put some input in, Lodge? You're welcome.
Okay, let me just get this. Okay, so this is what I'm sharing now. So we're just talking about the Grenfell and the stuff.
Right, this is what I wanted to see.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
So
you go first, and then I'll say afterwards.
No, you this is your platform. You tell me what you want to do.
Right.
I've explained I've talked about my aspects of it. I think there's something dodgy going on. I've explained how.
So do I.
I've shared my links to. I've been sharing my links in the chat. So you just dictate how you want to do things. Right, I just think that my position is that the whole world is controlled. Nothing happens by chance. Everything happens with purpose. Right? There's people who are not like us, who are, I refer to them as control freaks. But in order to remove themselves of any karmic debt, you can't harm another living soul. So if you're going to do something, you have to put the truth out there. And that's what showed me the World Economist. That's what showed me those others, is that they show you what their predictive program, they show you what it is that they're going to do. So that when it happens, people know that it's happened, and they can't say that they didn't tell you and they're not lying. So they have to do it by doing. It's called, if you look into what's called MK Ultra, it's known for this country. We've done it with LSD experiments and everything, with Tavistock Institute, with MI5, MI6, with the secret intelligentsia. That they do the rituals. That it's well known with MK Ultra. It's the same thing, that they have to do predictive programming in order to do something. They tell everybody they're going to do it before they do it, and it's put through the mainstream media, so that when something happens, that it doesn't come back on them, because we told you, so you should have been able to figure it out, because you know what I mean. So that's predictive programming. They've always done it, and it's just how the occult work in terms of the ritualistic and the magic. So it's not by chance, it's with purpose, and the purpose is to control, to keep people in a low vibration, to keep them traumatized. Nothing happens by chance, everything happens with purpose. So my point is, everything's controlled, it's done deliberately, and it's done to keep people in a low vibration, because we're entering in 2017 on September 23rd, we entered what I call the age of revelation. The age of revelation means in the Bible on September the 23rd, 2017, we entered the age of revelation. I did this whole talk on Jubes about it. I did all the alignments and everything. They use the astrological clock to show everybody what they're doing. This is why they always use numerology to control people, and that's why I was talking about grenfall, 9/11.
Jukes is there as well.
All right, she knows about stuff like this. We've covered it on. We've not this particular issue of Grenfell, but we've covered the age of Aquarius and 9/11 and all that kind of. We've done all this stuff. What I'm coming here is you just want to cover the Grenfell bit, but obviously we know about 9/11, we know about 7/7, the Maui incident happened recently with the 2,000 children going missing. This constant ritual abuse that's going on, where they're keeping people in the root chakra, in the lowest aspects of themselves, and they're traumatizing people, and they've always done that in order to keep the consciousness low in the vibrations that are on the planet, rather than people reaching a higher octave, which there is a higher aspect that's coming through. But they want people not seeing that, because they want people focused on the distractions they're putting in place. So that's my position on where I see it all in terms of the menace hackers and banks, the cult who are controlling this entire thing. So you have multiple rituals that they do, whether it's Grenfell, whether it's 9/11, whether it's 7/7, whether it's the Maui incident. There's been multiple, whether it's the Westminster Bridge on 3/22. There's multiple incidents that go on where they're doing these rituals and blowing rituals off. You see it going on all the time, whether the things happen in Paris, whether it happen in Christchurch, there's stuff going off all the time.
Oh God, what happened in Paris? Well,
yeah, exactly. All of them, they're all the same. They're all the same.
Have you looked into whether there's any numerology to do with Lucy Lettsby?
I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. I've just been doing stuff that I mainly focus on.
Will you be able to look at that for me? And if you get an answer, come on.
Well, no, I'll just pass you the information on. I'll do some stuff on Gematria, and I'll just email you the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just email you it. Yeah, like I said, I'll email you whatever comes up. I'll just email you. Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. Right. Well, just say whatever you're gonna say, Jubes. And we were just talking about this Grenfell. I'll just bring Jubes up to speed, but I would just 1 minute. I'm just gonna take this bit off first. So we've done. Where's this silly thing? We've done the great, because I linked it to Great Five London. So we've done this with the numerology of the Great Five. Now you've seen this, Andrews. Can you see those numbers on the BBC?
Yeah.
See those numerological numbers, Jubes?
Yeah.
1656. You see that all out. A lot of these masonry stuff, it's all encoded, because it's how they keep people under control. So I'm just sharing this with Easy, talk about the Grenfall or Grenfall or Grenfalling and the burning in the 80 days. So we're doing the numerological. We'll talk about the Great Fire London, the symbology of all. So I've touched that in the Pope's birthday. So we did that bit. So that's one of the, I've shared that already in the chat. Then we'll go on to this, and obviously I know you're familiar with this type of stuff. Then I was getting on to this kind of stuff, which is linked to the grand finale or Grenfall, which is here, which most of the chat I've seen. I was talking about 9/11 insurance payout. We're talking about some of the conspiracy theories. So we're talking about the Trump and the Trump card and other stuff that was going, because obviously at that time Trump was in office. Obviously he's not now. The insurance payout that happened, and it happened just before it actually, 3 months before the tower came down. So people claimed on the bonds. It talks about the Illuminati stuff like that, satanic ritual abuse, 9/11. And then we got onto this bit with the Economist talking about world revolution events, and obviously Grenfell happened in 2017, and then obviously the Economist in 2016 change, movies and predictive programming. I haven't got to that bit yet, but this is all about Tower Inferno. You can see it all, this type of stuff. So it's always something that they've always done, you know. Infernos and what they've done. So the bit that I was just touching now was here, which I'm going to put on in a second. And we're just talking a little bit about some people's view of Grenfall or Grenfell or Grandfall. That's when they don't name these places by chance. It's with purpose that they always do this with.
And it's quite interesting when you said it was near the site where the BBC was. Neutron. Weird, isn't it?
Well, we're here now. So now I'm just sharing
See
this
if
bit.
there's any questions where you're.
Well, I can't answer everything because I don't know everything. What I do know is the numerological side is that nothing happens by chance and everything happens with purpose. And that's, I've already showed that by showing the numerology stuff, and I've shared that in the chat.
Right.
Yeah. So I can't answer every question because I'm not know everything. I just know on the numerological side that it's done with purpose. That I can definitely confirm that. I've shared that link in the chat with the geometry stuff. Numerological, they definitely do stuff deliberately. That's on purpose. I've shared that information. In regards to the other questions, we'll do as best we can, but I just need to share the information and that's it. But I just know that this incident that took place on June the 14th, 2017 was not by chance. That's what I'm saying. It's with purpose and it was done on purpose. And these circumstances happen means that I believe people were taken out and sacrificed. And just like a 9/11,
it's a bit like Trump there.
Yeah, just like 9/11.
See his hair, 2 eyes,
yeah,
his long face and his shoulders.
See, this is this is what I was trying to say the other day.
Yeah.
You look at that fire. That's not started from the side. They said the cladding got caught. That's what spreaded it. Well, it looks like it's getting spreaded already from the bottom 2 blocks. Yeah, this is what I question their report on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to get into. So I've gone that. I just want to quickly just put this up. 1 second. I'm going to close my mouth and we'll just put this on. Easy. If you need to interrupt me, just interrupt me when you let me know. It's right. All right.
I will talk about basic facts about the fire event and emergency responses to the fire and just facts during the fire from local people. And in the third video, I'll be discussing the after response from the government, further implications from there, as well as important information, a prehistory look at facts about Grenfell Tower and its residents and the complaints that they were putting forth about fire safety, and the regeneration project, which was facilitated by the government, how that affected Grenfell Tower and this fire, the cladding that was used on the exterior of the building and how it became a death trap, the consequences from there, and some final questions that the whole issue of this fire has raised.
I will say this, and Jules is familiar with this as well. Jules is very familiar on the issue of gentrification, and I've said this, and I'm wondering what Jules thinks on this. But I think that area, because it's so expensive and it's quite a primary estate, I believe that whole area is under gentrification. What do you think, Jules?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, have you been hearing about the fires? Very similar things are going on where they've been buying up old buildings. And then they're being burnt down. A lot of the old pubs it's happened to. People have been buying it, burning it down,
claiming insurance. Yeah, that one in Birmingham, that weird one in that old one in Birmingham, that recent one in Birmingham. Remember we were building that? It was that higgledy-piggledy building.
Yeah.
That one of the first oldest pubs in the country. Yeah, definitely, Jubes. And they're claiming on all the bonds. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's possible. Definitely for the land.
Absolutely.
Especially where it was, that would be prime land, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, that area, that bit, they've done every place up around near that area, like Shepherd's Bush now is upgraded. So it was that area going towards out of Shepherd's Bush towards the White City, and where it's from near the flyover. And that's where you got the money people just down the road. And I reckon they just wanted it out. They just wanted it gone. Yeah, because it downgrades the area. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, well, you bought up around there, so you know that area. Yeah. But I do think London's prime real estate and it's very expensive. So if you've got if you've got areas where there's loads of council housing that's probably worth hundreds of millions of pounds, it's easy to gentrify the area, kick them out and sell it off to private developers, and everybody's making a lot of money while everybody gets kicked. And this is it generally in London. They try to kick Londoners out of London.
What
You've seen this as well, Jules. You do get that in general. Try to kick original Londoners out of London, and a lot of foreigners are coming in.
If you see that area I showed Jupiter where I was from, and they're building all the time around there. They're building all the time, yeah. And a lot to do, and don't forget they're doing that super rail tunnel through Acton, the Euro super rail thing. So that might be in a big impact where the flats are as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. Jubes, you still there?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, what do you think about the people being moved out of London, traditional Londoners being moved out of London and replaced by foreign people coming in? I want you to see what your opinion on that.
What, in terms of moving traditional Londoners out for what? Sorry,
moving to London, original Londoners who lived in London for years and years and years, moving them out and gentrifying areas and putting letting foreign buyers come in and buying up all the properties.
Yeah, well, they've been doing this for a very, very long time, haven't they? They've been doing it in the east end of London for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I know, for example, I've got, well, it would be my dad's aunts, and they owned big properties in what's called George Row in SE11, SE1, up that area.
Yeah.
And they were lovely big houses. They were told that they were being that they had to have a compulsory purchase.
Wow.
Because the houses were to be condemned. They weren't livable. And this was years ago, a long time ago now. So they took the compulsory purchase and moved off elsewhere. And the councils, the government kept the properties, done them up. Now they're worth millions.
There you go. Yeah. See, so that thank you. So that's my point I was making. So you obviously agree with that. That the people are being ripped off and just be gentrified. Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to see more of it. Okay, so we're on point on that. So that's like you said, this is continuous. It's not something. It's not a new phenomenon. This has been going on for years. I agree with you definitely.
I might also make a video about some conspiracy theories that are out there. They're just alternative points of view, information to share. I won't be drawing any conclusions. You can just listen and make your own mind up. So you might have seen it on the news, and at the time I was watching the news and I saw the whole thing unfold, and it really caught my attention, and I really felt the situation, and not just during the fire, but also following the fire, and I've been following the events ever since. So the purpose of this is to report real truths from real people from that building and that local community, and to expose that the government reacted completely poorly. They neglected the residents, and possibly even have a hidden agenda or someone behind the scenes. Some are calling it mass murder, and many are seeking answers, justice and accountability. So this video is for the children and their families and their loved ones, and the general public to be informed, so that these people are remembered, honoured, and are given a voice beyond the grave. I mean, graves that are not even made yet, because it's still fresh and there are still bodies to be found. This has now become a revolution of the people. And you might not know this, you might not be following, alternative news sources, videos made by real people. The so-called mainstream media are only showing you what, is officially wanted to be portrayed. They're not really giving you a complete, honest answer and information about the whole thing, and it's quite appalling and tragic and just awful. Okay, so this is now a revolution and an uprising of the people, real people, the common person, for truth, justice, equality, and a dire need for social and political change. It is about voice, the collective voice of the underprivileged, rising from the ashes. If anything positive at all can come from this devastating event, it is that love, compassion, true generosity, and the spirit of people coming together is what life is truly about. And that it's truly time for people to wake up. So I watched the whole fire unfold on both mainstream TV and also YouTube videos made by local people. I saw bystanders desperately wanting to help, but they were helpless due to the circumstances and the way that the fire was spreading so quickly. Many were unable to do anything. They were completely powerless, traumatized, helpless, heartbroken as they watched people perish behind windows or plunge to their deaths right in front of their eyes. I listened to their devastating stories, witness accounts of children being thrown out of windows in pure desperation by their parents, and I think that's something only a parent would understand. And it's devastating. It's just absolutely just gut-wrenching. I heard the haunting sounds of screams of children burning in the building, and I will never forget that. It's something that I can still hear in my ears every day since then. I don't think I'll ever forget that. I can't imagine what those people experienced, as well as the firefighters. And there are just so many aspects to this situation. It has become obvious and even blatant that the government, along with its minion puppets, the media, tried to paint over and cover up the facts leading up to and during and after the fire. And in the process, they crudely and purposefully suffocated the voice and concerns of the residents of this building, which was a council building, and the local community. So the burnt-out skeleton of the Grenfell Tower now stands like an unmasked omen, a hauntingly stark insignia of the clearly cut division between class and race, marking so palpably the cool, cruel schism between the rich and the poor. A sky-high viral icon, now it is in cinders, a landmark of everything wrong in the world. The remains of an unforgiving, silent and relentless war of hardship, disparity, oppression, neglect, injustice. It is a stark, haunting image, a wound in our hearts and minds that, like smoke, will linger. The resounding after effects remain, torn, broken and bare. This is about revolution, insurgence and human social justice. No longer hidden, it's now in plain sight. I encourage you to start to really question life as it's presented to you through mainstream media, governments, just our life in general, how we're slaves to the system. Instead, watch videos made by people, real people, and other trusted alternative sources, and see for yourself.
Well, I don't think it's about race. It's about class, isn't it?
I think it's multiple. I think it's across the board. But one thing I think financially, in terms of the government, definitely in terms of the insurance claims and the bonds, whoever's somebody's made a lot of money based on the claims of the bonds and stuff like that. So I do always think there's a matter of control.
This has happened before. It's not about race. It's happened before.
Yeah. Multiple. I think financially, we always see. I always go back to the financial side because that's the commonality I find with all this stuff. Even what happened with your family in SC1, the council took
Yeah,
the money and
yeah.
made money. They've always that's as far as that's one commonality. Regardless of all of them, that's one commonality.
So in the 60s, Dale, there was 2 tower blocks that were built.
Yeah.
And there was a gas explosion from. That's why they stopped putting gas cookers into high rises. There was a gas explosion that did a very similar thing, and not long in the 2000s, I can't remember what year, around, I think it might be in the late 2009, 10, something like that. But there was a tower block in Peckham, but it happened as well. But theirs wasn't as tall as that. But in Peckham, I think it was Lanark House.
Okay.
The people couldn't get out, and people were actually screaming at the windows. But a few of them got saved. Some died, but a few of them got saved because it wasn't quite as high as that. But the one where the gas explosion went off in the 60s, that was really, really bad because one side of the flats collapsed, and you could see into all the flats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kind of thing has happened before. They just don't care. It is definitely a class thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody's making a lot of money. Yeah, you always see somebody's claiming money somewhere. But yeah, definitely agree with that. And that seems a commonality with all of them. So yeah, definitely with you on that one. Okay, Easy, your thoughts before I jump onto that next bit. I just
think as we all know about these councils in that part of West London, Ealing, Hammersmith, Westminster, are all fucking corrupt. They've used up all their money, and Sadiq Khan had all the chance to rectify them buildings, and they were supposed to say that he was told that cladding wasn't supposed to be in there, and he refused to change it.
Yeah, and there's still people got cladding on their buildings around the country.
Yeah.
And is it that same type of cladding groups as well? Is it the same type of cladding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some places have had it taken down, but some are waiting for it to still be done.
I think it was about 3 months before, Dale, he was told he's got to change it. And he had the finances for it, but refused to give the finances for it to be all changed. And then that happened.
But Dale is right. There's something very symbolic about it being a tower.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
And, you know, if there's numerology involved, sometimes you can say, oh, it's coincidence. But then when you start seeing it happen so often that it actually formulates a pattern that you can almost predict.
Almost definitely.
You can't keep calling it a coincidence. I mean, you've seen these wildfires recently where they've now got footage of people starting them off. Yeah, there they were telling us that it was all to do with global warming. And yet there they are, people starting them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely starting them. Like I said to Dale the other night, where they're being satellite in Fiji, where Fiji is the center of the island's actually in the middle of the center of water.
What happened with their mouses is weird.
Yeah.
They reckon that might be down to laser stuff, didn't they? Have you seen the video that Manny Cinder's been putting? Listen, people, sub to Manny Cinder. He's got some really good videos.
Oh.
Manny Cinder's been putting out some really good videos, and he's not getting the views on them he deserves. He was showing the one of all the superstars that have been painting their roofs blue because laser beams can't start fires with them. And
okay.
The houses that were blue never got damaged.
Yeah, it's communicative. Blue's it's higher energy. No, I agree with you. This is what people don't realize. And it's in the octaves. It's communication. No, it's a higher form of energies within the Earth's aura field. I agree with you. Definitely agree with you on that one. Which is why they're trying to keep people constantly in the low vibrations, and that's what these rituals are about. So yeah, you're definitely right on the money with that one, Jubes. Interestingly enough, there's certain materials that obviously these so-called celebrities can have their houses built out of, like you said, and put certain things into the houses, so it makes it pretty much fireproof. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. There's definitely a class and divide rule there. Definitely, there's always those that have and those that don't have. Definitely agree with you.
Can I just say for a fact, you know, we've got these solar panels.
Okay.
Yeah, so the people are having solar panels on these houses. Do you think where these wildfires are coming from? Do you reckon they could be the cause of it? The heat's bouncing off the solar panels and overheating where there's been really hot weather.
Easy.
Hello, are you here?
Yeah. I got a bit of a lot lost there. Go on. Well, the last bit about something about panels.
The solar panels. Yeah. Now, well, since people have been having these solar panels on their roofs and what have you, do you reckon where it's overheating with the overheat, like we've been getting really hot weather? Do you reckon that's reflecting where these fires are? Like, you will get some buildings when you're outside, they're all done by solar panels and all that. Do you reckon the heat's reflecting?
I'll have to look into that more. I'm not sure about that one. If anything, if they're building these, whatever they build these, you've got to realize that it's a standard, isn't it, that they're building to? So regardless of the always got to look at building regulations. I'd always look into that, and even with the solar, how the buildings are constructed. And not just that, but I'm saying with the solar panels themselves constructed. Because if they're built with flaws, or I call them windows, or like windows, if they're built with flaws in, then they can always be exploited. So that's why I think the construction of how buildings and the panels are built is key. Because if they're built with fundamental flaws in them, then those flaws can always be exploited.
Yeah, it was just a thought actually, because if you see, all I see with people who have solar panels are middle of the nowhere, like where I live.
Yeah.
So down the bottom of the road with me, we've got a little field, and somebody built a house, and that's all solar panels. You go out driving the solar panels, and I'm just thinking, is there a bit of a thing where we're having the heat waves and where the heat's hitting off the solar panels and it's really hot? Is it setting off the fires off the wildfires? I just don't know.
No, I mean, the thing about the Jews mentioned it with stuff with Real Manison. They can always create fires or purposeful fires using tech. So that's always been the case. It's just a case of it's how they choose to exploit it. That's always been the case.
Yeah.
They've always done that. All right, I'll jump into this next video when you're ready. If you're ready.
I'm ready, my mate. I'm ready.
As part of the Grenfell Tower Fire series, you can find more related links below. Here are some basic facts about the event. The public housing tower building had 24 levels, 124 flats and 227 bedrooms. The residents were predominantly poor or ordinary working class people, including some refugees, the elderly, disabled people, individuals, families of children, and people of varied ethnic backgrounds such as Muslim, Malaysian, Moroccan, Syrian, and so on. Kensington, the area where Grenfell Tower is one of the richest places in Britain, and they say even in the world. And this tower was one of the old, ugly, neglected council-run social housing buildings, sandwiched between luxurious apartments owned by the extremely wealthy. The fire was said to initially be caused by a fridge exploding in a flat, I think on the 4th floor, but some people question whether that was indeed true. The fire spread unusually rapidly, and that was proved to be because of the cladding fitted onto the exterior of the building for solely aesthetic purposes as part of a regeneration program that the government put in place, and I'll discuss that further on. It continued to burn for 60 hours, this fire. Many people were hopelessly trapped. Children were desperately waving material, at the windows, flashing torches, putting their hands on the windows and screaming literally for help. But they were told repetitively to stay inside their flats. In desperation, a baby and other children were being thrown out of windows by their parents, and there were some adult jumpers as well, so people jumping out of the building, obviously in total desperation, because either you are on fire or you jump to your death, and this was, a large building. Secret information was revealed to a local that a firefighter who was known in the community saw around 42 dead bodies alone in one room of both adults and children. They were all squashed and heaped together. Obviously, in desperation, they, were trapped in a room. Many survivors, and of course you don't hear that on the mainstream news, do you? Many survivors speak of stepping, trampling, and even falling over many soft burning or smoke consumed bodies on the stairwell alone, and that was estimated to be about 60 to 100 people alone on the staircase. Yet the authorities officially reported so few deaths, and you don't hear them speaking about that either. Residents say that there are so many people still left unaccounted for. The whole building would have housed hundreds of people. Some say 200 to 300, others say more like 400, 500, 600. Why can't they reveal the correct number of residents? It is a council building after all, so they're only reporting low numbers. There are many people that have lost their children, parents, or other family members or friends. It was reported that 65 people were rescued by firefighters and 74 people, 17 of which were in a critical condition, were confirmed to be in various hospitals. And at first they said only 6 people died, which is a bit of a ridiculous number. And then they said 17, and then by June 20th it was confirmed 79 had died or were missing. There are still many more unaccounted for, according to locals and residents of the tower, that the authorities are simply ignoring and excluding and not admitting and absolutely covering up. The residents and friends are making posters and stating that the numbers are much, much higher, but this is not being reported on main news outlets at all. The emergency response to the fire. So emergency services received the first report of the fire at 00:54, so 54 minutes past midnight. And also, that's suspicious to me, to be honest. When you look at the suspicious circumstances around this, which, I'll be discussing, and you can watch other videos, it's middle of the week, it's after midnight, so of course that is the most guaranteed time of people all being in the building. So for example, if someone did want to kill a lot of these people, if that was the case, of course that would be a time that you would choose, because it would be a guarantee of all those people being in there, as opposed to like a Saturday night or a daytime when people are working. The fire brigade came 20 minutes after being called, and ambulances came much later. Tenants say that the fire brigade were reluctant to fight the fire at first. They didn't attack it until 2 to 3 a.m. Some say there were issues getting the fire hoses closer to the building. They also couldn't get into the building as the door was slammed shut until a resident handed their key. A tenant said by this time the right side of the building was engulfed completely in flames, but the left and middle side of the building, now that's where, the middle is where the one and only stairwell and exit is, and that looked clearer at that point. So it's hard to understand why more people couldn't be rescued at that time, because after that the fire went completely out of control. There were explosions, blue flames, it was a complete and utter inferno. And this was one of the concerns repeatedly raised by tenants, which I will also discuss further on. Gas pipes were fitted in the stairwell, which were extremely hazardous and temperamental. This was one of the fire safety hazards that the tenants had been complaining about before the fire, and there was only one stairwell for tenants to exit, so it was a complete death trap. The fire happened all up one side of the building where there was the one and only exit, as well as the gas pipes. Doesn't that sound awfully, deathly, as well as suspicious? There was no other way out, outside of plunging to one's death out of a steaming hot window of melting plastic. The tenants knew that the gas pipes were there in the stairwell, and that also made some of them reluctant to go down the stairs, knowing that they could explode or leak at any moment, but others took that risk. So many people actually died on the stairwell, and you have to ask, could toxic fumes from these pipes have added to the lethal smoke inhalation from the fire, and could there have been other toxins involved? As I'll discuss later, other toxins were proved to be involved, cyanide from the cladding. I'll talk about that later. There is another suspicious element that doesn't sit right with me. Only 2 days before the fire, there was some kind of inspection in the building. The inspectors knocked on all the doors and told residents that in the case of a fire, to stay inside their flats and to not try to escape. Doesn't that sound like a death trap to you? Obviously, this advice was fresh in their minds because only 2 days later the fire happened. And then this advice was given again by emergency services, who they were desperately calling, and the firefighters entering the building. And in the end, as we know, this safety instruction was the death trap and downfall of the people of Grenfell. Bystanders tried desperately to help. They wanted to get mattresses for people jumping, potentially jumping, and do whatever they can, but the police told them not to help. They said they were dealing with it. Later, people questioned this and it stated that they were pushed out and feel like they could have helped in some way because nothing was, being done. However, there was also the risk of falling debris to keep into consideration. Victims were given extremely ill advice by emergency services to stay inside their flats rather than escape, and this is something that caused many lives to be lost, and people are extremely angry about that. There were also stickers placed all over each block level that tenants would have seen every day that said clearly to stay put and keep in your flat in the case of a fire. So it was drummed into their heads. While people have praised the emergency services and hard-working firefighters, some of whom went against protocol and risked their lives to save people, there has also been criticism of why there was a helicopter that was only there to take photos and videos of the event for the news, for people to ogle at. Yet there were no rescue helicopters or planes carrying water or rescue equipment. Also, why weren't there any safety nets or some kind of equipment supplied for jumpers or, people falling to land on? Victims were falsely assured initially that they would be saved because they saw the firefighters, they heard all the emergency sirens outside, although no alarm went on in the building, and they saw heard the one helicopter, so they had this false hope. Little did they know that helicopter was only there to film them dying. During the fire, there was no emergency lighting that came on in the building, no sprinklers, no alarms, the lights were dead. At some point, there was no water, so people couldn't even protect themselves in that way. So initially, some people were turning the water on and filling up their baths and wetting towels and so on. At some point, no one could do that.
In part 3, I talk about the after response.
Oh,
I found that bit about the sprinklers interesting. The fact that the sprinklers weren't working, I find that a bit interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's to blame for the people who are subletting that, because obviously the people they're subletting to most probably were refugees and they didn't know how to report about sprinklers not working. Do you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that I found that really interesting because that's standard protocol in any buildings high rises that the sprinklers are working.
Yeah.
Tubes.
Yeah, so I think she's a bit unfair to blame the fire service and the rescue people, to be fair.
Yeah, I think they like she did say though that some risked their life. She did mention that some risked their lives and went against protocol. She did say that, so she did mention that. And I think right, because I think most firefighters would do that. They would risk protocol to try and help people, and then she mentioned that. And I think I think there were some that did break the protocol, tried to do what they could,
HTP said Cladding has a PAR course, so high temps cause release the hydrogen chloride and gasol form.
Yeah, do you want me to read out the comments if you tell me what ones?
That one, please. Yeah. The
Cladding has a PRI core so high temperatures cause release of hydrogen cyanide in gaseous form.
Yeah.
Jules, what do you think about that? I thought the emergency services were interesting. How she said that some did break protocol. So there's clearly an issue with some of them saying they wanted to risk their lives and go in there and break protocol. So there's clearly some conflicts of interest going on and around how the whole thing was handled.
So what I find from that is two things that stood out. I can understand that the different fire safety procedures would be different to flats as it is to houses. I mean, in a house, everybody knows you get the mattresses and whatever you can out the bedroom window and you jump. You hang from the window. You hang from the window and jump. You're not going to be able to do that floors and floors up, are you?
No.
What the bit that I did. I don't agree with her that it took 20 minutes to get there, by the way.
No, I thought that I assume in terms of law, they've got to be as crazy as London traffic is, they've had to get there much sooner than that because they know that getting there sooner is that has the best chance to make the biggest difference.
Yeah, and I know that the fire service did get a standing ovation from residents, so they must have tried. Some people must have seen them working hard, and I know at the time, from footage, there was firemen that actually were exhausted. They were covered in soot. They were distraught. They were traumatized. So there were some that actually did try and go in there.
Yeah, she said that.
I don't understand.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
In a country where we live in a nanny state where we can't even fucking play conkers, how they've managed to allow housing where they've got gas on the only escape route, gas pipes. That doesn't make sense to me. Or the fact that they didn't even have a sprinkler system. That doesn't make sense to me either.
Well, like I said,
that's what threw me. That's what threw me completely. Because normally, standard procedures is that they'll have the sprinkler system in. Do you know what I mean? I agree with Juice on that. I don't get that. How they not got? If they did, why wasn't it working? Go on, easy, go on.
Don't forget, they were sublet them flats. So basically, when they came in to inspect the property, the people were staying in it weren't answering the doors to them because they were sublet. They weren't original people. They found about 100. They found about 100 people were subletting them flats.
Right. Okay.
The people who were in them flats weren't the original people who had the tenancies.
Right.
That's where the problem is, and that's where they're not bringing up a lot. So the people who are subletted off them were not answering the door for their inspectors or anything. Do you get what I'm saying? They won't do that because they want to hide, don't it? Because they know they're getting sublet to.
All right. Should we start the next bit then? Are you both all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? What's happening now?
He's just getting a video up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the problem as well.
Well, definitely, because there was a lot of illegals in there, and there was a lot of sublets, and then there was a lot of sublets of the sublets. Unfortunately, if the council, I know this might sound mean, but if the council had stayed on top of all that, checking on the residents every so often, it might not have been so high.
Yeah,
and if after the event they had declared an amnesty, like if they found out, they wouldn't take no action. You might get people being more honest and saying who was in there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, definitely.
Yeah, it's the problem. That's why they can't find the bodies. They can't identify them because no one doesn't know.
But you also had the fucking bastards that were fraudulently claiming and getting the money.
Yeah, and they're the ones who were subletting the flats to, are the ones who were claiming it. Yeah. So the guys who were subletting the flats, the actual ones who were making that, they were their landlords. They're the ones who were making the claims.
Well, no, not only them. There was actual people that didn't even live in the tower making out that they'd been living there. Yeah, and they got a card.
That's
because
sick.
where it became so confused, and where they tried to be politically correct and were chasing after the horse after it bolted, they decided to put up funds and give each of them credit cards for food and stuff like that, didn't they? And money to get places to stay and stuff.
Yeah, and the aftermath. Yeah, I remember that, Jubes. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was actually people that weren't even living in that tower claiming. So basically going there and just saying that they were they must have had knowledge of someone who lived there, saying that they were someone that they weren't. And yeah, that's horrific as well, because you're actually taking away money from people who need it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's bad and all.
I think everybody was on the take, and that's the downside, isn't it?
Yeah.
That everybody was on the take.
Yeah, and I think that's a sad indictment of what our country's become now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, and that's one thing I do agree with you with, that no matter where you are in the country, if everybody's on the take, I think you're just gonna have chaos. And this is what I keep saying to you, Jobs. I just see absolute chaos, and I just think everybody's exploiting wherever they can do, because it's like, you know, it's like, well, if they're doing it, we're doing it. You know, there's no decency, is the Jubes. There's no decency. It's gone. It's dog eat dog, isn't it? It's chaos. They want dog eat dog. I agree with you, and that's what they want. They need that. I think they thrive under that chaos. I really do. There's certain people thrive under that chaos, should I say? No, it doesn't benefit everybody.
But I'll tell you something, right? Before they said that what caused the fire, the cladding and all this business, I'm sure that I read a report in a newspaper, right? And I don't know if it was my imagination, whether it was a fake memory or what, but I could have sworn that they first reported that there was an explosion from a fridge in one of the flats, and that one of the residents, one of the survivors, reported that they thought that it might have been somebody that was actually had a cocktail of explosives and that in their flat.
Yeah,
and then
then
it all went quiet.
I mean, there was loads of stuff at the time, wasn't it? There were reported, there was all kinds of things that were swirling around. I have to agree with you. And I also agree with you, Jubes, that I did add to the confusion, because there's so much rumors swirling around at the time, definitely, that it's hard to pin down exactly what happened, because you had so many people saying so many different things, you know, at the time of it taking place. Definitely agree with you on that. You know, because some people did question whether or not the place was actually blown up, like you said, and that it was done deliberately. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one.
That was one of the rumors that I heard, that well, they didn't say it was done deliberately. But I don't know where I got that rumor from, but I know I must have heard it somewhere to remember it. I'm sure I read it, to be fair. But in the very beginning, what I thought was being said was that there was a resident that lived there that was pretty extreme, that might have just had storing explosives there, not to use there,
but just in that flat itself.
Yeah, and that they'd gone off.
Yeah. As a result, yeah.
Moon's coming up. Okay.
The after response from the government. So Theresa May was severely criticised for her absolutely cold, rigid, emotionless and too little, too late response, and for not properly visiting the people. She did some kind of quick appearance and then ran away like a little mouse later citing security concerns. I mean, what security concerns was she truly facing? Just some like angry people because they have dead relatives in the fire. Was she that much of a coward? This was seen as incredibly weak, rude, and heartless. The people were completely let down and angry, rightfully. They felt that they were not worth a visit, care, or help. People feel she was extremely incompetent and should withdraw from office. She was accused of gross negligence, and many were losing faith in the Conservative Party and their austerity regime. Artificial forms of help were eventually put in, but it was too little, too late, and not good enough. The whole response was very badly handled and managed, and it was highly noticeable. Phone numbers, so helplines that were given out through the media, were badly managed. They were not even on. A victim who desperately needed help got a voice message saying that no one was there to man the calls, even though the number was just placed on TV. Inaccurate information was given to people through media. We were told lies. This applies to both victims and the public at large, and all around the world through global media, controlled, of course, by people in power, agenda, and fortune. It is a fact that these people were completely neglected and treated like third-class citizens. Those affected were desperately trying to get information about their loved ones, whether they were dead or injured, where are they? In the days and even more than a week after the fire, but they were turned away or simply did not know where to go or who to turn to. There was nothing set up for them as there normally would be in any other crisis situation. It was like they were just completely ignored, left to rot. There were no supportive services, clear instructions or information, resources, any kind of organisational structures immediately put into place to direct victims and their families and friends. Instead, it was the local community that came together. They provided food, water, clothing, toiletries, hugs, support, accommodation, assistance of every kind. People were amazing. They were on the street helping each other. The streets were crowded. Donations were overflowing from people, regular people, as well as churches, mosques, and people were opening up their homes to strangers. They were taking in victims who they did not know in person, from the goodness of their hearts, because they felt compassion towards these people and just the awful reality of this event. The death toll was totally inaccurate, played down and confusing, like they wanted to deliberately make it look less and cover it up, or wait for the hype to die down before revealing the real truth and enormity of the situation, if ever that actually come to be. They kept referring to the dead or injured people as missing, and this is just utterly ridiculous. This is something that particularly irritates me and many other people. It was completely upsetting, especially for the people trying to find their loved ones in desperation. Why call them missing? They are obviously either dead or injured. This building was burnt to its shell in smithereens. They also used this word missing in the aftermath of the terror attacks in London that happened not long before the fire. I think it was like a week or 2 weeks or something like that. It's not like they were lost or abducted, is it? We all know that they are most likely burnt out bodies in a heap in the building or in a morgue or some kind of undisclosed secret location. People were looking desperately for their children, loved ones, and they were not allowed access to the building or to any information. It was like they were walking around like traumatized headless chooks. Theresa May eventually said that there would be a public inquiry into the matter. However, legal experts on the side of the people have said that public inquiries are internal and keep the government safe and protected. That it's a deliberate decision in order to protect themselves. It is better, actually, rather to have an inquest where an outsider looks into the situation and the residents of the building can get involved. It's much more fair for the people. But of course, no, the government want a public inquiry because that protects them. While the media portrayed survivors as having hotel accommodation, they didn't report how some people were being kicked out after a short stay. They were not given any food or clothing by authorities. Others were given accommodation with no hot water, and others no accommodation at all. It was local people that were taking them in and trying to work out where they were putting up notices, offering their place rooms to stay in. The government publicised its declaration after some time that it would offer £5,500 for each victim, but they didn't reveal how people would have to sign all these forms and that it would come out of some kind of future payments, or there was some kind of hook involved anyway. Further implications. Residents and locals feel that someone needs to be held to account for this. There is a lot of criticism also that it is a profit before people government, a materialist capitalist society with no care or regard for the poor. They are in outrage, but also wanting peaceful protest, as they are well aware that the media and government will paint them out to be violent thugs of society, even though they are so genuinely and justifyingly angry. They're trying to be peaceful at the same time. These are intelligent, heart-centered, well-spoken, caring people who want answers, equality and justice. They are over the fact that they have been ignored and treated like third-rate citizens, as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You can understand why words and phrases are being thrown around like social cleansing, ethnic cleansing, gentrification, corporate manslaughter, profit before people, a crime against humanity, and what is hauntingly appearing like a Hunger Games society. Whether accidental or deliberate, you cannot deny that this was the result of gross negligence and the turning of a blind eye. This is mass murder at the very least by negligence, at the most deliberate manslaughter and cold-hearted social cleansing. To sicken matters even more, less than 2 weeks after the fire, there was a news announcement that the Queen of England will get a pay rise, of course, of £42.8 million. In Australian dollars, that would be $71.8 million. A lot of this money will be used to fund decade-long repairs to the Buckingham Palace. I think that's an absolute slap in the face, and it says it all. I'm all behind the people and the people's revolution.
The prehistory about Grenfell Tower and its residents, and their serious concerns about fire safety before the fire happened.
Tenants had repeatedly voiced their concerns to the TMO, which is the Tenant Management Organisation of the Royal Borough, Kensington and Chelsea, about the condition of the building, the poor condition, and their deep concerns about fire safety. They had asked repetitively, again and again, but they were literally begging. However, they fell upon complete deaf ears and were completely ignored. Their legitimate concerns were not investigated during the regeneration works. 90% of tenants had signed a petition asking for an investigation into the TMO, the organisation that runs the building, because of their complete incompetence. The council, however, turned them down. 68% of tenants were bullied, harassed, threatened by this organisation and contractors doing the work. They were threatened that legal action would be taken against them, knowing very well that these people were not in any position to financially afford it. They tried to get lawyers, but legal aid had been cost cut, of course, and so they were in an utterly helpless situation. Here are some examples of some of the pre-existing building issues they were concerned about. There were pipework sticking out of the walls, power surges being ignored, unsafe location of boilers, fire escape safety and procedures they were concerned about. There was no fire equipment, no sprinklers, no working alarms. There was no working stairwell lighting, and 6 years ago a 10-year-old child sadly fell to his death in the building because of unsafe windows. Can you imagine? I mean, that's just awful. The regeneration project. The government had put in place a regeneration program to make improvements, and so there was one in Kensington. There were two options: to either demolish the building or regenerate. Now you can actually see real evidence of a request put in to demolish the Grenfell building in 2014. This looks so incredibly suspicious, so you can understand how the tenants feel, especially when you put all the information pieces together. As a part of this regeneration program, the public library, an important resource for locals, was closed down and turned into a private school for the wealthy in the area. A public school was closed down and turned into a gym. A pet pampering business opened up. You get the idea. It was all about making the place for the rich. Locals say that instead of spending money on safety, which was a major concern for the residents that was repetitively ignored, it was spent on sprucing up the exterior aesthetic look of the building, as well as other buildings in the area, as a quick fix so they appear more pleasant looking for the gentrification of the area for rich people who live in expensive, luxurious apartments nearby, and so that people and commuters have a nicer view on their way to Westfield, which, by the way, is allegedly owned by the Zionist elite. The cladding of the building. Residents are fuming that £10 million was reportedly spent on the building for its apparent regeneration, yet they can't see where the money was spent in the real ways that was direly needed. Instead, money went on cheap cladding, a type of exterior panelling that was placed on the outside of the building just for aesthetics to make the building look prettier so that the rich people in luxurious apartments and walking by would be happy. Many criticised the regeneration works as being shoddy and with obvious cost-cutting issues. They chose this particular cladding for a cheaper price rather than spending only £2 more for each piece to make it fire safe. The cladding was made from a cost-cutting material that was later outrageously found out to be highly toxic and completely unsafe, a fire hazard, and the major cause for the fire to spread so rapidly up the building right over and down the other side. It spread and burned rapidly, relentlessly, like wildfire, igniting and spreading upwards like a thin piece of paper, turning Grenfell Block unnecessarily into a towering inferno, killing all those people, and it's a total outrage. The cladding was made from aluminium composite with a polyurethane core and has been proven to be not only highly combustible but also highly toxic, which people knew before the event because it was banned in most European countries, including Germany, as well as rich Dubai and the USA, for the very reason that it's a clear fire safety hazard. The insulation manufacturer has confirmed that the cladding releases toxic gases if on fire because of its toxic levels of cyanide, which contributed to the toxic poisoning of the victims. Cyanide is reported to be one of the deadliest poisons there is, and cyanide poisoning has a host of symptoms, which on top of the severe smoke inhalation from this fire sped up the dying process of the victims stuck in the building or desperately trying to make their way down the stairs. The question has to be asked, is this cyanide poisoning also why so many people died in a heap on the stairwell and in their rooms? Some of the hospitals did actually officially report that they were treating some of the victims that came in from the fire from cyanide poisoning, so there is already proof of this. After the fire, other tower blocks with the same cladding was inspected and every single one of them failed safety tests. It is said that there are over 200 buildings. People were consequently evacuated from some of these buildings, causing a snowball effect of other social and housing issues. Why was the construction company using a banned product? Who's responsible for choosing it? Who do we hold accountable? And are there more parties involved? A criminal investigation ensues, but can we trust the government? Was there a deliberate negative secret agenda behind the fire? Were these victims pawns in a chessboard game by a sinister, elite, greedy, cold-blooded group of people? The cladding turned Grenfell into a cruel, unyielding, lethal incinerator. Was this a modern-day Holocaust? These are but some of the questions we need to ask, and we just can't let it go.
Well, City Khan was in charge of the finance of the housing at the time before he became mayor.
Well, then he needs to fucking be held accountable. Look, whoever signed off on that needs to go to prison. There's no two ways about it.
Agreed.
And you would have thought the builders would have said to them, "You can't use that.
Yeah, it should. I mean, under Health and Safety Act 1974, there's certain things that should have been checked over. Like you said, these standard procedure before the cladding was even put on. So how they've got away with that, and I have to agree with you, is how they've got away with that. I don't know.
Every single one of them, from the person that inspected the job and said that it was finished, from the one that said that's what they were going to use, from the person who signed off the money for it, the person who went round, the architect, and said what they were going to use, every single one of them should be inside for at least 10 years. Other people would probably say more, but they could never have preempted what was going to happen. They never could. They couldn't have preempted just how bad it was going to be. But they should. But they should be at least.
But then again, the health and safety should have really said this, and the builders must fucking know. You know. So, when did they actually put that cladding in? Does anybody know? Was it not long ago before the fire? Because I presume that they added that to make it look modern, didn't they?
Yeah, so it was new. I don't know how new, but it was new.
So there was a Tory councillor who was in charge of the refurbishment, and his name is Fielding Mellon. Rock Fielding Mellon. Wow, what a name. And he was informed of the plans to save money. And I think it was a couple of quid difference. And this was swapping zinc cladding for aluminium. Yeah. And it says that it was in 2014. But initially told police he only knew about it after June 2017 fire. The switch led to the use of combustible cladding that became the main cause of the fire spreading. Fielding Mellon, the cabinet member for housing at the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, said that he had no idea about the different properties of the two materials. So he agreed to it without knowing the differences between the, obviously the zinc and the aluminium. There are other properties involved in the makeup of that cladding. It's all very, very ridiculous that he wasn't given that information. I don't understand that at all.
It's not about whether he was given it. He didn't perform his job properly and asked what was the difference and why. What was the difference in the materials?
Yeah, and he didn't. Well, there was differences. I just can't get my head around why, to save a couple of quid, they made this change. That it makes no fucking sense.
Well, of course it does. Of course it does. Because if you
knowing how corrupt and mean councils are, then it only makes sense, because they are mean and they are corrupt. It's anything to save a few bob. You could have a repair needs doing, and instead of coming out and fixing it properly so it lasts for the next 10 years, they come and stick a plaster over it, and then they've got to come out a month later because it's all fucked up again.
Yeah, but what I think is more disgusting, after reading what the residents had requested when they knew funding was going to be provided. So these residents had been sort of like heckling the government and pushing for sprinklers. They said they wanted sprinklers.
Correct.
They said they were concerned about the fire safety issues.
Yep.
Yeah. They said they were worried about the piping, the very piping that they had all down the stairs. They were concerned.
And that was the only exit. Keep in mind that was the only exit as well.
Yeah. Right. Now, all that money they spent, they could have spent on reorganising all of that.
Yep, and they could have spent on making at least another exit. I agree. That's one thing I definitely agree with, because because I think it was like over 10 million plus So they could have easily either rerouted the piping, I agree with you, Jubes, or they could have created another way of exiting the building, like a separate stairwell that they could have used, that could have been insulated to prevent and insulated and air cooled, so that in emergency.
What I don't understand, Dale, is that after the 60s explosion with the gas, so this must have been built either during that time or before that. When they had that gas explosion, they outlawed having gas in high-rise blocks. So I don't understand why, as people were moving out and they were getting new tenants in, why they weren't getting rid of the gas connection and just making it electric-only flats.
Yeah. And they could have done, and saying that again, even with the regeneration that you've just said, with the money that's coming, why weren't that put into doing that? That should have been going on. That money could have been used for that. I agree with you.
Well, yeah, to bring it up to the standards of modern day building. Yeah.
And it should have been like that, because even the Health and Safety Act, that would have covered that. Like you said, it would have covered that, because like you said, after that building went down in the 60s, it was clear that buildings of that kind of ilk had to be, repurposed to meet modern day safety standards. I agree with you.
And I don't, well, maybe the rich have got a different idea of what looks nice and what don't, but I don't even think it made the flats look nicer anyway.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
You can't make a fucking concrete prison look any less of a concrete prison just because you make. It's like when they did when I was years ago, when I was working in Southwark, all the Camberwell and that, all the high rises there, they suddenly started cladding it with wood, right?
Yeah.
This fake wood look. And I thought to myself, I don't know why you're doing that, because give it 5 years, it's still going to look as shitty as before you started.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it's mental. It's like when they put the different colour fucking ones on. I think, well, that's only going to look shit in a few years. It looks like a fucking Lego set that's fucking been chucked in the muddy garden.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't describe it better myself.
See, it says that these panels, they saved around £300,000, yeah, altogether. A couple of quid each panel, basically.
Yeah.
But contained a plastic core that fueled the inferno. Now, he's saying that he didn't understand the differences between the two. And
what means he's incompetent?
Well, it was said, yeah, that he had no training or expertise in housing or fire safety, and he relied on the expertise of others during the refurbishment, and that he was in the role because he believed the regeneration of council estates was the best way to increase the supply of affordable homes. So he was there to save money.
I think in all the cases, I think in all these cases, I think most of these people, this is where Juice is right. I think most of these people are not competent. Most of them are not. Most of them are not competent, because if they were, even in terms of standards, you can only way this could have got through, like Juice said, the only way this could have got through is if multiple people
signed it off.
All signed it off on it.
Yeah.
Because it's the system's designed in a way that if 4 or 5 people fail, one of them will say, hang on a minute, how on earth have you got this through? Because none of this makes sense, because this is not right, this is not right, that's not right. So this has to be like up from the top of the council right down to the bottom.
Yeah.
This is right the way through, Jubes. I agree with you.
So Moon, when you work for the council, right? I don't believe that bloke, by the way. He might not have had specific training. But when you work for the council, because you're dealing with the welfare of tenants, yeah, one of the first courses you're probably, and I'm not even a council employee, but it stands to reason that one of the first courses that they're going to ever send you on is on the health and safety and welfare of your residents.
Correct.
That you can't give out housing that's inadequate for a start, right?
Yep.
So for you to be able to spot inadequacies or repairs or maintenance, you're in that level of position where you're going to be agreeing the money out, then at the end of the day, like signing it off, you have got to have some level of training. And even if you haven't, because you maybe he's there in an administrative role, right? And he's not had that kind of training because he's not got the hands-on job. Okay, fine. But you would have been aware that there would have been somebody whose department that was meant to have been, and it would have been your job to designate and to pay those officials to go and give you that fucking form, to go and do that check and bring you that report.
Correct.
So he is culpable. So are all the other people all the way down the line.
Yeah, I agree.
But you and I,
multiple failures at multiple levels. I agree.
yeah, but you and I know in this day and age, it's nothing like the previous day and age where everybody knew their job and everything, isn't it, is handed over to another department and someone else in that department and someone, and you know that you could be sitting next to somebody in the office, but you can't bend over and ask a question. It's all got to go through emails and everything else. The whole thing is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. No one talks to each other because it's not their job description.
I agree. And all of that kind of stuff, Moon, is stuff that they can do to improve communication in the future. But when it comes to apportioning blame, from that bloke who was in charge of giving out the funds to the person that went there and measured up,
yeah,
every single one, the one that gave the measured up and said, oh, this is how much for this is how much for that, right? He's okay because all he's done is done the instructions. But the one that's took that and then gone and suggested we take the cheaper route without looking at the reasons why is responsible.
Yeah. And the differences.
And everybody from that person upwards is the one that's responsible.
Yeah, and I agree because it's you're supposed to get, and this is the thing as well, and this is where you are right, Drews. You're meant to get 3 quotes, as council meant to get 3 quotes, and all those have to meet certain safety standards. So if you sign it off on the cheapest one, that still should have met a certain safety standard. And on the client that was on there, none of those standards were met anyway. So it's clear that there's corruption going on. So I agree with Jubes. They should have had at least three different versions of it, and that all of them should have met a minimum. This is where Jubes is right. A minimum requirement in terms of health and safety standard, and it's clear that whoever signed off clearly didn't meet any of the safety standards. So anybody there and upwards has signed off on that. So they're all culpable. So I agree with Jubes.
Yeah, and he admitted he didn't have a clue. He didn't have a clue the differences. So why was he even in that position?
Do you think the difference of paying for that, the different part of material was something to do with the insurance that we'd had to pay?
It wouldn't have mattered. Regardless, they had the fun. Keep in mind that I've got one more video up here. Keep in mind that it showed you that they applied to have the building demolished in 2014. Keep in mind the building went down in 2017. So there's been concern with that. Juicy said way before all of this it's been going on. So they've been voicing the concerns for years with the sprinklers, with the for years. It's been going for years. It's not something new. So that level of corruption has gone high because it's been going on for that long. That people have known that there was questions going on, and everybody just kept. I call it art of passing the buck. Everybody just kept passing the buck, and passing the buck. No one took responsibility, but they all was on the take.
Yeah, and they should be hauled over the coal street and they should be serving prison time. Listen, I don't want them in there for fucking life because I don't think any of them, when they signed all this off, thought that this was going to happen. However, it did happen and they are responsible. They're all partially responsible. At every step of the way, those people knew that they were putting people at risk. Now, the fact of the matter is that if those people had already been urging the council and there had already been an agreement from the council that there were certain things that they needed to do to update those housings, why were they worried about the aesthetics and not about the inside?
Exactly.
And they had the funding, Jubes. They had the key thing, like you said, Jubes. They had the funding to get it right.
Yes. And this is where it's gone wrong. And I know a Home Truth provider, he was in the side chat saying, well, how is it aesthetics? Because it still looked ugly. I get what you're saying. I think it still looked ugly. But the reason that we know it was aesthetics, because that cladding had actually no purpose at all.
Yeah.
And that's how we know it was aesthetics, 100%. They can't even argue that it wasn't. That it was there for safety reasons, because it had no purpose. It didn't meet safety standards. It wasn't there to enhance anything for the residents.
Yeah, agreed.
And that is where they've made themselves look 100% guilty, because the funds were there, and what would have improved the life of the residents was not cladding on the outside of the building. In fact, it made it a whole fucking lot worse. It shortened half of their fucking lives.
Yeah, it made it worse. And it's the internal work, like you said, Jules, when people were leaving the building and it was being set and the new tenants were coming in, before those new tenants should have been allowed in, the work should have gone in to make the flat safe. Like you said, it should have been, the work should have been gone in, because there's a period of time between somebody leaving and somebody coming in when they could have, like you say, converted the flat
They
cell from
didn't
gas
even
to
have
electric.
a system. They didn't even have a system, right, where, and even I as a layperson, yeah, and maybe if there's someone out there with money, you want to take my idea and fuck it, stick it in a block of flats. So the bloke, let's just say the bloke was on, I don't know what floor he was on, but let's say he's on the 5th floor at number 11, right? They didn't have a system where he can go outside his front door or inside his front door or anywhere in the flat, knock the alarm that sets off a recording that alerts every fucking person in the flats. There is a fire on level 5 at flat on level 5 at flat 11. Can everybody on floor so and so make their way down to the floor?
Exactly.
Can everybody after 10 seconds, 2 minutes or whatever, can everybody on level 2 make their way out of the building? Can everybody on level 3? Can everybody on level 4? Residents from level 5, please make your way down, 6, 7, and do it that way. They didn't even bother.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with you.
Totally
agree with you.
Dad, what do you think about what Bleeding Heart said? Do you think it was social cleansing?
No.
I come from where Jubes is coming from. I think gentrification is where my standpoint comes from. Other than the literal cabal stuff, gentrification definitely, that's my standpoint. But I agree with where Jubes is coming from in terms of the council and money for me. The council saving and not spending money on the residents. It's nepotism and corruption within the council.
The bottom line is this, easy. There's an easy answer to all of this. If there weren't nothing nefarious, yeah, if it weren't from top down, yeah, then they would be holding all those employees accountable, all the ones that signed off. If they don't hold them accountable, then they're saying that they fucking rubber stamped it, in which case it's their fault.
So next year we get the inquiry is released next year.
Well, we mentioned that earlier on. It shouldn't have been an inquiry. It should have been an inquest. We know it should have been an inquest and been opened up, because the government always, as you know, they always want to protect themselves. And things will be swept underneath the carpet. I don't think we'll ever actually get. I don't think we'll completely get under the bottom of this totally. I agree. Some of it will be kept away from the public.
Yeah, no, this is too big. They are not going to skirt around those organisations who have invested all these years, and these are people that either survived it or lost families. They're not going to skirt around them.
No, I'm not skirting. I'm not about that. I'm on about the thing itself. This happens all the time in this country. You see this where the truth is moved away and the families are still fighting for justice. You see it all the time.
Yeah,
look what happened with the Hillsborough. Look what happened with the Hillsborough.
Yeah, Hillsborough.
And I've met them, and I'll argue this because I know the person. I've met them. They fought for 30 years to finally get the government to fucking admit the truth. It has gone all the time in this country. It happens all the time. You'll get some of the truth, Moon. Don't get me wrong. You'll get some of the truth, but there'll be elements where where I'll say it like this, like Jude says. Jude said in fair circumstance. I agree. The stuff that's relevant in terms of protecting themselves, that'll be swept underneath the carpet, and they'll give you what they want to give you. But the stuff that's really important, they'll keep that away. That's how I say. I agree with Jude on that.
Yeah, but I don't think they're just going to sweep that away. I honestly, I hope these people and
No, the
other
residents
people
will know
join.
the truth. They'll fight.
Hang on.
They'll fight.
I hope those people and the people who joined them and more people join them to make sure this never does get swept under the carpet until every question is answered and every person responsible is brought to justice. That's what you have to fight for. Sadly, because, yeah, we know governments are corrupt, and I know how corrupt councils are. So I don't think these people are just going to let that go.
They're probably not going to let it go, but Dell's right in what he's saying. It took 30 years. Look how long it took Stephen Lawrence's mother, for example. Look how long, and it's got nothing to do with colour, okay? Look how long it took the Hillsborough people. The people in Liverpool the Liverpool fans were being painted by the press as pissing on their own dying dead and robbing them. It turned out
because there was a culture in that time. Every football fan was a football thug. That's what they portrayed for years, didn't they?
Right. But the press did that. They wrote all those horrific stories. It took them years.
Yeah,
it took them years.
And I've met them personally. I've met them as well. Sorry, Jubes, but I've actually met them and spoke with them. And everything you're saying is correct, Jubes. They had to fight and fight, and they knew this. They fought basically because they knew that the government was lying, and that they fought for years, or well over 30 years. But go ahead, Jubes.
Well, they were
totally agree with you.
They were fighting the media as well. I mean, you had
they fought everything. They had to fight everything. They had to fight everything because every aspect of society they were being lied upon. This is where I agree with Jubes. They were being lied upon, and they've had to fight for years. They had to fight to get the inquest turned over. They then had to fight from the inquest turned from one verdict to the middle verdict, and then to fight for it to get the government to admit the truth. That took well over 30 years. Jubes is right. The Grenfell residents they will keep fighting
because they thought they could get away with it, but they didn't.
No,
you've got to cling on to hope, Del. Right? Eventually, and it may have taken 30 years, and it shouldn't have taken 30 years, but eventually the truth came out. So we've now got this, and those people are never going to let that go, and no one should let that go. No, I don't think people are going to let that go.
No,
they're not just going to accept bullshit stories, because this was money-saving shit by a local council.
You do know, Moon. You do know that same council, just after that happened, gave money back to people that were working and paid their council tax. Gave all the rich people in that borough a refund.
There you go.
Fucking hell.
Royal Burrington, Kensington, Chelsea.
What an insult. After trying to save £2 on every fucking tile, they then gave £100 back to all the people that were working and paid council tax.
There you go.
Yeah,
and this is what I'm on about.
Their windows cleaned. Yeah, I know, it's fucking disgusting.
Well, that's why I agree with Jews, because this is what you're going to see in this country. This is what we continue to see. The survivors will have to battle for years and years and years just to get to the truth. Now so that's why I'm saying it'll be swept underneath, and they're going to have to fight, because we all know that these people in the council or the government will do the same things. They only want to cover their own backs to make sure that they don't get held accountable or responsible for what they've done. So expect this battle. Expect a long battle. Expect a long battle. I agree with Jubes on this.
Yeah,
expect a long battle.
It's going to cover a multitude of sins here. It's going to cover the fact that the fire services, as brilliant as they were understaffed.
Yep.
The control rooms couldn't cope with the amount of calls coming in. Underfunded, understaffed,
under-equipped.
Agreed.
I mean,
some of the firemen didn't have enough of the equipment to go in, but they still took a chance and went in.
They were hosing that cladding, and it was doing nothing, because it was turning into clods of molten plastic, which was then just dropping onto the next bit and kicking the flames. And you also had an air gap between the cladding and the building, which caused like a backdraft, which was then sucking up and
Well, but
spreading it even
I think
faster.
the worst thing is that there was no sprinkler system. How can you have a building that high and no sprinkler system? Come on, Moon, that's disgusting.
Exactly.
I know.
That's probably the worst one, because if you got every building, most buildings that modern buildings have a sprinkler system. That single-handedly, if they've had that in, most people would have had enough time, like Juve said, they've had enough time to get out, because that would have given them enough time, including with the fire service getting there. They'd have had enough time to get most people out. But a building with no sprinkler system is that is a fundamental flaw that you just can't get around. That you can't excuse.
Was there one in there and it just wasn't
No,
working?
no, there wasn't one in. There wasn't one in.
There wasn't one, and that's what they'd asked for the funds for.
Correct.
And they didn't get it. What they got was cladding on the outside that wasn't even fireproof. I mean, I'm not being funny. It's almost like you go down to your local council and you say, right, my kids are starving. Can I have some food for free? And they say, yeah, I have some rat poison.
Mm.
But they tell you it's porridge. I mean, what the fucking hell was going on here?
Mm.
And I want to know as well, because I didn't realise that the stuff that they had gave off cyanide. So how many of those local residents who inhaled that smoke are going to come down with illnesses later on? Cyanide's a major poison. And if that's gone into your system, I bet we could probably find some connection to cancer or something like that. That you know, coming up against cyanide, assuming like inhaling cyanide causes. I bet there's something. And that was going out into our ether.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be more complications, maybe like you said, Tubes. Yeah, like when the miners in the pits, it'll be minute and like I can't remember what's that one, arsenic, the one that's in houses, Jupiter, that used to build houses out of, and that's that poison people the lungs later on. There's not arsenic, cyanide, but it's one of those, another one of those dangerous chemicals.
Yeah.
And years down the line, you get the effects of it. Years down the line, I agree, and it's going to be years down the line when people get the effects.
Don't forget, there was other poor estates around there as well.
That's why we questioned after Bunsfield. I mean, I was half a mile from when Bunsfield went up, and the amount of chemicals that was just bellowing over the top of us. We weren't evacuated. There was green shit coming up the drains outside, and that was going on for weeks. And we were told stay indoors, but a few people had actually had their windows blown out, properties damaged, our garden room was damaged. But yeah, we were allowed to stay there, but this cloud that was just hanging over the top for days. I mean, it was just bellowing for days. We were all out in it. We all went out in it. You know, it was ludicrous, but yeah, you have to question years on whether that was the cause of a lot of illnesses in people. I mean, I expect that inquiry will still continue to go on. And, you know, they tried to cover that up, didn't they, for the big shell companies and that, but they couldn't get away with that. But who knows, you know, chemicals. Look at asbestos. Killed my dad like years after he worked with it. So
asbestos, that's the other one. That's another one. That's asbestos. That's one I was thinking of. There's notorious moon. Notorious is asbestos.
Was there any asbestos in Grenfell?
A lot of older buildings. I mean, even where I'm just moved
I bet
from,
it did that.
There's stickers which says, like in the hallways, the asbestos stickers are there, so that if any work has to be, it's okay as long as it's not disturbed. You know, that's the theory.
Yeah,
so buildings do still have asbestos in them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, but if that block was old enough not to have a sprinkler system, and it's not been updated. And it was old enough that it didn't, what do we call it? What was the other thing I was going to say? There was something else that it didn't have. But whatever. If it was, yeah, if it wasn't, it allowed gas into the building.
Yeah.
Which they don't do now because of what happened at, I think it was Rowland House was the name of the flats that went down. If it was that old that it was pre that as well, then you can bet your life it's got asbestos in there as well.
Yeah.
And that in itself is another thing. If those particles went up as well, and those people have inhaled that, there's a possible later medical issues going to come from that and all.
Yeah, if it's disturbed, it's when it's in powder form, that's when it's dangerous. That's when it's breathed in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So even when the fire was put out, if there was asbestos in that building, what was blowing over the residents nearby and the survivors?
Yeah.
But I bet they'll keep that quiet as well.
You know, again, it's councils. Oh, well, you know, it's cheaper for us to leave it there. That's what they'll say. Because I questioned it. You know, what are all these asbestos stickers? Well, it's cheaper to leave it there and it's fine as long as it's not disturbed. But you are disturbing it because you're out there changing light fittings.
Well, of course it is. If it's left out there, it's generating the fumes.
Listen, Moon, it's where they started putting all these fucking new fucking fandangled shit up that nobody really wanted to live in. Let's be honest, right? They conned people.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier about my relatives that gave up these big fucking Georgian houses, right? Worth millions now. They were conned into a compulsory purchase, right? And what they did as a softener, they said to them, oh, we'll buy your property and we'll give you social housing. We'll give you first offer on living on the brand new estate that's going to be built so far down the road, right? They got given a high-rise tower block. But because it was all brand new, you know, fitted kitchen.
Mod cons,
They'd never seen the like of that before because they were just ordinary working class people in an old Georgian house with the big fucking old sinks. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, oh my God, this is so modern, out of this world. It's lovely. Yeah, it was lovely for the first fucking year till the lift started breaking down. You've got to go up and downstairs. People are pissing in the fucking one entrance. You know, they're moving in the riffraff. The windows are getting smashed on the fucking 10th floor and you know, the wind's blowing through, rocking the fucking whole place. You know, these, honestly, I don't even understand people buying a high-rise block of flats. I don't. Every time, right, and this is it's not like every time I've known someone who go, oh, I live in a block of flats, I'm going to buy my property. I go, you mental?
Yeah.
Seriously, I was like, you do realise, because see that stone cladding, that cladding, sorry, they put on. Imagine someone in that block, right? Even if it was 20 of the people that lived there out of all the 300 apartments. If they've bought their own property, because the council still owns the whole fucking block, they want to put new windows in for the whole fucking block. Your flats can't be left out because it's got to look aesthetic. So your flat's got to have the windows, and you've got to find that money. They're not going to pay for it. If they're going to put cladding on the outside, they can't leave your flat out. So they're going to put the cladding out there. You've got to pay for it, whether you want it or not, because they own it. And this is why I say there's certain things that people just don't know, and they walk it themselves into blind trouble. That's what and it's deliberately done, in my opinion. Deliberately done.
Agreed.
But someone said in the side chat, my voice is going, I don't know why. Maybe I've caught that COVID and it's gone to my throat. But someone said in the side chat, what about the schools at the moment? I don't know. We haven't talked much about it.
The concrete thing.
All the concrete stuff, right? Now you can bet your bottom dollar, Moon, as someone said in the side chat. At the moment, they're saying what, it's 10 schools, 20 schools. You watch that creep up, and then you watch it go to hospitals and, I don't know, community centres, train stations. You watch. It's not going to just be one fucking building. It's going to be any of these fandangled buildings that were all built around the same fucking time.
Using the same construction methods.
Yeah.
Why? Because they all stopped using brick. They stopped using the fucking proper methods that the ancients have used for fucking thousands of years. That's why.
Yep, shortcuts. Cheap shortcuts that are designed to fail. Like I say, I was saying this earlier, backdoor windows. Something that's fundamentally flawed that's built to exploit later on. And that's continuously, and I agree with you, and something that's built that can be exploited later on.
It's just madness, honestly.
It's all gone mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I've got one more video I still want to finish off with, and then you'll get your thoughts on that. But at least it's got people provoked. I like the fact Moon's come on and said a piece. It's good to get engaged in it. But like I said, I've always said, these like Jubes has been saying as well, this country's going down the toilet, and I do think they want absolute chaos. And that's the comment I see with all of it. I do feel that the things have been done deliberately so they can be exploited later on. And that's what I see coming. I see the darkness coming.
Oh, fucking hell, don't say that.
Yeah, don't mention that.
Yeah, we have to use a new word for it now.
Dark
evil.
times.
The evil. Yeah.
Brother was sleeping with the angels, sleeping everybody does every night. We use the correct words, Logan died, and these are the reasons why he died.
The Gomez family lived on the 21st floor of Grenfell Tower.
Oh,
Next month, they should have been celebrating the birth of their son, anticipated with much excitement by his older sisters.
They were making plans about
who's going to sleep with who.
He can sleep with me. He's going to be on the floor. I'm going to play with him with this, and I'm going to play with that. Yeah, they were very excited. And then obviously we just finished the nursery.
Instead, their home is gone, and their son, who they'd already named Logan, was delivered stillborn by caesarean section as his mother and sisters lay in induced comas in hospital.
I knew something was wrong straight away when they told me. In these scenarios, they take the mother as a priority. So I broke down before bed because I knew what they were saying without saying it. And then later on, they said, the baby had passed away. They can't say 100%, but they said that the heart just couldn't cope with the lack of oxygen that the baby didn't get. So we've done a full autopsy, including toxins, to see exactly what caused the baby's death.
They said that they believed as the poisons, or that poison, it went in as it settled on my body. Obviously everything goes to the baby. So, and especially at 7 months is when the lungs of the baby starts to develop. The amount that he received, it was obviously enough to stop his heart.
There's been speculation in the 4 weeks since the fire about what toxins may have been released as the building burnt. The family allowed Newsnight to film their discharge papers from King's College Hospital. Their 12-year-old daughter's diagnosis includes cyanide poisoning. Her mother and sister were also treated for the risk of cyanide. This is the first confirmation of a cyanide poisoning diagnosis as a result of the Grenfell fire.
And that cyanide is believed to be from the insulation, the cladding, or...
I don't know where it would come from, but I would imagine it would be from the plastics that were being melted and burning. But the smoke was certainly you know, it was so intense that as soon as you took a mouthful of air, or in this case smoke, you were gagging. You were constantly gagging all the way down. I mean, I can't even imagine what my daughters were going through at the time, and I'm sure you were gagging as well all the way. You just literally always having that gag reflex. It was that intense.
This was the family's flat where they sheltered that night, unable to leave because of the thick smoke in the building. They'd been advised firefighters would come to rescue them. But 2 hours and up to 5 999 calls later, just before 4 a.m, Marcio knew it was over.
My room is on fire.
Oh,
just
God.
like that. All my curtains were on fire. My Moses basket was on fire. All that side of the window was all on fire. I looked at the window thinking, you must have cracked or something. Window was shut. Everything was still fine. So I know the fire came in between the walls. And I know there was a lot of gaps in those walls because of the insulation that they used. So the only thing I could do at that moment was literally I grabbed the door, because it's a fire door, shut the door. And then I looked at them and I said, we have to go now. There's no turning back. We have to try. And that, you know, it's now or never. Because I stayed at the back and I was holding the rail. I kept shouting to the girls, you know, keep going, keep going, keep going down the stairs, you know, try and give them as much encouragement as I could. But at one point, my daughter replied back to me and said, I can't. And it was coming from behind. So that's when I realized that she must have let go of the rail and she was with a friend. So I turned around, I stopped, I turned around and I said, I'm right here, I'm waiting for you, follow my voice, I'm right here. So I kept shouting to them. So I tried to climb up the stairs and then she said, I can't, Dad, I can't. And then at that point, she didn't talk anymore. But the smoke was so heavy, you couldn't see anything that was there. So I just kept trying to shout to them, I'm still here, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. But thankfully at that moment, I looked down and there was a light coming up and it was a fireman with the gear.
They were rescued, but the delay on the staircase meant Marcio had lost Andrea and their younger daughter.
The police then came and grabbed me and I said, no, I need to go back. I still need my wife. I need to see where she is. And the policeman said, I'm not promising anything, but there's a pregnant woman over there. And I sort of relaxed a bit at that point. And then the other one said, is your daughter's name Megan by any chance? And at that point, I just went, you know, I'm good here because I know they've got out.
An ambulance took the family to hospital, where doctors put Andrea and the girls into comas.
When you woke up, I mean, did you know immediately that you'd lost your son, or did you have to tell Andrea?
I knew
She
already.
knew.
Yeah, I knew. I don't know how, but I knew.
Just before she got brought out of the coma, she was a little bit moving, a little bit, you know, very slow. And I was talking to her, and the first thing she did was try and put her hand on her stomach. And all she said was, I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
The family have nothing but praise for the support they've received from the NHS, firefighters and friends. As for those who decided to cut costs on the renovation of Grenfell,
I'm very angry with them because it could have all been avoided. And that's where the anger really stems from. Yes, it was an accident, I'm sure it was, but it could have been avoided. It should never have happened like this. The residents never wanted the cladding in the first place.
When you go ahead knowing that something could happen and you ignore that, and this is me personally, I feel that you don't care. So you just, I don't know if it's the right word, but you just killed so many people, and you just killed my son. Because if he was in a normal situation, I could have gone out, and he was 7 months. He could have survived. There's babies that survive less. That because of the conditions, he passed away.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't they say that she lost her daughter as well?
I think she said that they survived. The policeman said that they got through.
Oh.
Yeah. The
And
man
they
said
had
that.
cyanide
Yeah.
poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time with the girls that the cyanide issue came up, I think is what they said.
Yeah.
You see, now when I hear that, I just get so angry because even if you decide to reimburse them monetarily, what price is the life of a child?
Yeah, you can't ever get that back. I agree, Juice.
And I bet the housing they're offer them would be just another tower block.
Yeah, which children shouldn't be in anyway.
No, and this is what pisses me off, man. Right now, when I try and get this across to the rest of the British people, the ethnic minorities, they think I'm being nasty. But the sheer numbers that are coming in at Dover. Hold on one sec. Unwanted. Hold on.
Yeah, it's gonna create more of this high-rise social housing.
Believe it or not, in London, they're knocking a lot down and replacing them. Believe it or not.
Kids shouldn't be in them, you know.
No.
But you can't stop people having kids. I mean, yeah, if somebody gets a flat and then
yeah, but if they know
has
they've only
children,
got enough space for a certain amount of people in the family, don't you think they should be responsible and not get
yeah,
rid?
of course. I absolutely believe they should be responsible.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
But maybe some see it as a way out of this appalling living conditions. But it isn't, because they'll just move them into a bigger flat in another high rise. You know, they are pretty appalling. I'm lucky I've never lived in one, but I visited them and they're pretty appalling places.
Yeah.
You know, if the lifts aren't working, you've got to trudge up the stairs. I mean, the size of that building.
Yeah, it's the corridors as well late at night. You know what I mean?
I mean, the view and that from up there is amazing.
Yeah.
But to live up there with children, no.
Nah, ridiculous.
But there's a lot of these all over the world, isn't there? I mean, some of the tallest buildings are in Dubai.
Yeah.
They're taller than that, you know. So I don't know. Maybe we're knocking something that isn't so bad,
No,
but
yeah,
definitely in this
a bit
case,
different to these, aren't
yes, in this case, I mean, the total lack of care within that structure is the issue, isn't it?
They decide totally different, didn't they? From over there. These are they didn't even think about that. All they thought about was pushing more homes in small spaces and
and no, not even a fire drill. You know, once every 3 months, say a fire drill.
Yeah, but
it was in place that should there be a fire, people stay within their flat because the fire should have been contained in each flat. So when that fridge freezer caught light, he let his neighbours know that there was a fire, and then people the rules were that you stay within your flat, shut the door, and you stay within your flat because poor people, they didn't realise that this cladding was going to be the tipping point. The fire just engulfed this building.
I like I said, the communication with the fire drill on the sprinklers because a lot of them were subletting. Yeah.
Well, that was another issue. They were subletting. They
Yeah.
had people staying there. So when you had the fire services arrive, and you're told, well, there's 200 people live in this building, and then it turns out there's 300 people or 400 people. You know, they're faced with, well, there's more people up there. There's more people. More
Exactly.
People, more
So
people.
don't you think the ones that have been subletting should be held responsible as well?
If they were subletting for money, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I mean for as well. So like roughly there were a number amount of people were in there from families who were in there.
Yeah, because some get a property and then they go back to their country and then they're letting that property out.
Yeah, exactly.
That goes on, you know.
Then so the protocol is they don't know much about the information of that person who's renting the place out to them.
Yeah.
So when the inspectors come to do like the sprinklers or anything, they're not letting them in. Do you know what I mean?
But I think the council, Easy, I still think the council, they knew there was subletting going on. They knew there were people that were living there who shouldn't have been. But I think they were absolutely fine with it, because then it wasn't their problem. Oh well, yeah, let them all get shoved in there. We won't have to find accommodation for them. In a lot of cases, the council weren't even going to find accommodation for people.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the housing crisis and you've got people turning up saying, well, I've just come over from blah, blah with my 2 kids and I want somewhere to live. And the council are saying, well, you know, we can't help you. You need to go back. And of course, they'll find accommodation in these places, and the council think, oh, well, it's not our problem now.
You believe it or not, there's worse places in Grenfell in London, buildings. Do you know what I mean? There is 50 times worse. You only got to look a few places in East London and, you know, South East or North London. You only got to look at the Broadwater Farm Estate. Do you know what I mean? That is just as bad, you know. So when they said they got left behind and that, I disagree with that, because I think there's a lot of people who have been left behind and forgotten. You know what I mean? Just not that group of people. But unfortunately, that fire happened there. You know. And I do think there wasn't subletting and that, we would know more bodies were lost. We would identify more bodies, because the bastards are subletted to these people. They're not going to get that information, are they? So there most probably was more deaths, but they're not counted the ones that they're subletting to, because they're not non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah. But I hope people never give up the fight on it. I mean, we'll see next year. A lot of people are going to be waiting for this report, aren't they?
It's going to take ages. Yeah, it'll take another 30 years or something. You watch. It always does, doesn't it? Look how long the Hillsborough took.
I'm not sure that maybe they're realising they can't get away with shit. People are going to fight on and on. They're not going to let go. They're going to take on national newspapers and governments and councils. You know, that is the bit of hope.
But when have they ever bothered about that, Moon? Do you know what I mean?
But I don't.
Papers.
I know, but I don't think people realise the scale of these groups, these action groups. I honestly go and look at them.
Yeah, they're quite.
There's millions
powerful.
Of people. There's millions of people.
Yeah.
They're not going to just sit back and take that, and other people will join when they see that. Look, when people see that authorities are getting away with murder, they're going to take action. They've been taking action since day one. They're not going to give up easy. We're not on about a handful of little group of people on Facebook. This is a major organisation, you know. and good for them. Good for them, and I hope they
let's just hope the ones that are running it are doing it for the right reasons. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that it's run by victims and victims' families, people like the guy and the lady you just seen.
Yeah.
You know, we're on about millions of people.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't going to go away. What we will see is how the judicial system act. That's always the last cog in the wheel, isn't it? Which heads are going to roll? Who's going to go to prison for this? Because they need to.
Yeah, they do. Well, they need to get. Well, they should get life imprisonment, really. To be fair. Will they get anything? Well, I just have to wait and see. See if there's any questions. No, there isn't.
But all the, you know, all the cost cutting, that was all going on, wasn't it? Like I say, cutting the cost of the police, fire service, all this cost cutting that was going on, Brexit and the whole caboodle, wasn't it? It was just mayhem.
Terrible. I know it rocked the whole community.
I think it rocked the whole country.
Yeah, I think they don't realise how close the community is in that part of London, to be fair. It's very diverse. I mean, I've been there for ages, but we've always been diverse in that area. They're quite a bit of a community, actually. There isn't much of a divide, to be fair. Not at all. Everybody seemed friendly, and that just showed you that night, that part of West London. I do think them poor people have died in there. I do think there's a lot of people who've got answers to, especially the people who suck. That is really, they should be bloody checking. Like, obviously, if he's had that fridge is blown up, that's really old, that fridge. So most would be people the sublet.
I don't know, because remember I said to you, my friend's tumble dryer just caught light. You know, it wasn't particularly old. It just, they're doing recalls on electricals all the time. You know, you have to keep an eye on these things. They'll put out, Indesit, Hot Point, this model is being recalled. You know, electricals are known to cause fires. You know, it was also, fires were horrendous years ago because all our furniture was filled with combustible foam. You know, dropping a cigarette down the side of the sofa, and that was it. I mean, we lost a family around the corner to us because Christmas tree lights caught fire.
Yeah, but I was going to say, but you know, like a proper landlord, he was put. I bet you any money that subletter bought that cheap fridge freezer, bought it cheap second hand, right? From a second hand shop. It was.
Was he a subletter though? That tenant.
Apparently
he was just a tenant.
Subletter. Yeah.
Oh, was he? Oh, it doesn't say that.
Yeah, and I bet he bought. The guy was renting it off him, thinking, "Oh, right, it's just come here and that." I just buy a cheap fridge freezer or something and put it in there.
He said he woke up and his smoke alarm was going off.
Yeah.
And he let his neighbours know that there was a fire. I mean, I do say to people as well, always keep an extinguisher. I mean, to go away in a caravan on holiday, you're going to have an extinguisher, and every home should have one, because he could have just popped that out. You know, from something as simple as an electrical fault. It just seems astounding, doesn't it?
Yeah. What I want to know is, was that fridge feed passed this electrical test though? That's what I want to know. Was it certified, or was it that an old one was bought from a fucking second-hand junk shop? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if they will be able to tell the age and condition of that appliance, considering the fact that the building was just absolutely wiped out. I don't know, they're very clever nowadays. They might be able to, you know, everyone is sitting, aren't they, waiting on this report.
Yeah.
I mean, will it come out in that report? But even if you buy a second-hand fridge freezer, and we've all had to do that over the years, can't always afford new, and someone's flogging their. I mean, I've sold appliances, you know, online, yeah. So it shouldn't matter if it's second-hand or not. I mean, it's just something.
Because now there is a law in there. It's certain years of a certain generator of a fridge. They've got to have. It's got to be at least 5 or 6 years old if you could resell it again.
And
it's got to be.
I don't know.
Yeah, for residents, for rental residency. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be a lot of things, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no place in the side chats discussions of spamming chat with dog whistling and barking.
It's no
what are you on
place
about, bleeding?
During
a joke.
Spamming chat with dog whistling and barking.
I don't know what you mean. Snoggering should be banned from the chat.
Sloganeering.
What's that?
Sloganeering. Sorry.
What's that mean, bleeding? Good nice. Ooh. I'll put the link out if she wants. Camel. God, is that the time already?
For spamming chat with. I know, 1:21 already. That's insane. But I've only just got on here tonight, so.
That's all right, yeah. You gonna sleep, Dale? That's the duck.
No, I'm fine. I'm just.
Are you right, mate?
Yeah, just do your own. I've finished what I wanted to share with you.
Well, should we end that? Should we go on to something different then?
I've just wanted to. I've shared what I need to share with you. And then let you lot talk. I just want to do something. Give me about 2 minutes.
Okay then. Right, panel's open now.
As sad as it is, I think it needs to be kept alive. I do. I think
it will be. We'll do updates. Yeah.
Even if people go and sign up with the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it again.
Well, everyone, please tune in at 8 o'clock Sunday, because I got a very interesting show on. I'm not going to announce it now. I will just put it up.
Here it is. It's grenfallunited.org.uk.
Yeah.
No.
Good evening. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm not on for long. Yeah.
Just going to put that link in.
Okay. Sorry, MC, we were just doing the show on Grenfall, mate.
Yeah, do what you have to do, my man. Do whatever you have to do.
So you going to say hello to the panel, or are you miserable tonight?
No, mate. My nephew's trainers have been stolen, man, from my porch. It's bullshit.
Your neck? What?
My nephew's trainers and mine have been taken from the porch from my front door. They're gone, man. There's nothing funny about that. What's funny about that?
Even for the NICU trainers.
You know, you see, this is one thing I don't agree with these stupid delivery drivers. They should just be leaving your stuff at the door and just
Oh, right. Oh, was it a delivery parcel taken?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's not so funny then. No.
That's what I said. What the fuck you laughing at, man? You're just laughing. It's not funny.
Yeah, but I bet they only cost you a tenner though, didn't they?
Maybe they cost you 10p. Fucking hell.
Oh, sorry to hear that. It's annoying when they do that. They should put it somewhere safe.
No, Rick, hold on. I'm gonna go. I'm not staying on long tonight, yeah? First of all, these fucking little cunts from the delivery companies shouldn't just be leaving stuff at the door. Yes, okay, maybe they trust there's no thieves. They leave the stuff and they take a picture and they send you an email, it's delivered. What the fuck is that? You knocked my door. I was in all day. Why the fuck did they knock the door?
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't they?
Yeah, but no, Rick, you see why I'm so pissed off? I told my nephew I'm going to give him his new trainers tomorrow, so he's going to think I'm a liar now, you see? He's going to think I'm telling fibs to him.
Well, just tell him what happened and just order rooms more.
Yeah, but the youngsters don't just listen like that. He's going to think I'm talking nonsense. Come on, man. It don't work like that, man.
What were they expensive?
Yes, that's why I'm pissed off. But at least I got insurance on them. At least I paid the £5 insurance.
How much were they?
I'm not going to say the price. No.
20 quid?
Yeah. No, 20p. 20 pence. There we go.
So why didn't you just send them straight to your nephew, still in your house?
Because he's on holiday at the moment. He's only coming back tomorrow morning.
Okay. Yeah.
He's abroad, man. He's in Greece. He's coming back to England tomorrow.
Well, he's in Crete, is he? Well, I've got friends in Greece, actually. It's really hot.
No. He's in Greece. Doesn't matter where he is. He's in Greece. He's
Well,
arrived.
that's what my friends is. Do you? What's I said with my friends in Greece?
Are you deaf and dumb? Okay. Ray Malaka, Tikanis.
Sequel what?
See, I'm deaf. Yeah, anyway. No, but you see, Rick, my point is, these fucking delivery people, they should not just leave a parcel at the door, knock the door, knock at least 3 times. If the person's there, is there. If not, fucking hell.
It's not good.
Anyway, I'm going in a second. What else, man? What else?
Are you in a bad mood tonight? Are you recently?
No, I'm not too happy, bro. I like to chill and party. No.
Did you enjoy the show tonight?
Say again?
Did you enjoy the show tonight?
Which show? I didn't even hear your show. I only jumped on
About the Grenfell Tower.
The Grenfell Tower, but fucking hell, it burnt down years ago, man. What you know?
Yeah, we were talking about it. Christ's sake,
and that stupid woman, Betty, tried to make a claim. Do you know Betty from Manchester?
What about her?
She tried to make a claim to say she was there or some shit. I heard something like that years ago, man.
She didn't do that.
I just don't follow it up, man. Because hey, I'm not that way inclined. Her name is actually Elizabeth. How do you think I know Elizabeth's name? From that same shit, man. Anyway, Rick. So what else? What else? Cheers. Bye. Yeah.
Bye. See you later, mate.
Cheerio, baby. Yeah.
Cheerio, geezer.
No, fuck off, man.
I won't call you baby. That's a bit, you know.
Cheerio, baby.
Who's here? Who's here? Right, MC scored then. That top world. Oh. So Sunday 8 o'clock. Please tune in. I've got a guest on. I won't say yet, but I think it's going to bring a bit of a different opinion with a lot of people. Yes, got off lightly of him tonight. He's in a bad mood, isn't he? He's in a mood. I'll bring up the 41. Has everybody fell asleep? Oh, he's back.
No. I'm only back to say, you're just chatting, man. Where the other people talking? Where's Moon? Moon, where you going to? What's that man from Manchester, Manchester?
He's not from Manchester. That's Dale.
Yeah. Anyway, whether it's from Leeds, Manchester, don't really fucking make a difference.
Anyway, what are you doing back then?
No, I'm chilling today, man. Chilling. Normally I talk, but I'm just pissed off about the trainers, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Anthony, they will replace them trainers, you know, just so they never arrive.
No, they're only going to replace it because I paid the insurance.
They will.
No, I paid the £4 insurance. That's why. Anyway, it is what it is, man. I'm not. You see, Rick, what's pissed me off most? Yeah, my nephew's coming back tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then when I'm here with no trainers, he's gonna think I'm talking shit. Like I'm a lot. It's gonna sound like I'm talking nonsense.
Well, you do talk shit, don't you?
Oh, shut up, man. Shut up, man.
Anyway, you're all right. It's obvious. Look, you can show the receipt online.
That's why Brentford is shit, you see?
Anthony, you can show the online receipt.
It's just about receipts and all that. I've got all that. You ask him about receipts. I've got all that. Don't you think I'm clued up in that sense? Huh?
You're not clued up.
Yeah, well, ask your toilet. Where's your left toilet and your right toilet? That's why Brentford is shit, because you're all toilets, you see.
You talk toilet talk, mate.
Well, look in the mirror and see who's the toilet, you see. Anyway. Yeah, man. So, hey, where's what's his name? Gal boy and Teddy. Where are you, man?
She's ignoring you.
She's not ignoring me. In fact, oh yeah. Have you heard that song by? Have you heard that song by Emily Winehouse? Call it back to Valerie.
You're drunk again, ain't you, MC?
I'm not too drunk, man. Normally I can handle. Normally I just go out with a buzz.
You're lonely.
What?
You say you're lonely.
Is that how you feel?
You just said you were lonely.
When did you hear that? Are you hearing things?
You just said that. People, didn't he say he was lonely?
Okay, so try the mental hospital.
Why don't you ask Shines to come over?
That might be no, Ricky. That might be the right place for you. The mental hospital, man.
You're in the mental hospital.
You see, he's trying to repeat, trying to mimic. Get back into the nut house, mate. What's wrong with ya? Hey, listen, don't talk shit, man. Go back into the nut house. I told you what cycling, Mikey. You just there. You there. Go back into the nut house, man. Because I think you are a nut job. And okay, repeat now. He's going to say, oh, he's a
Oh,
bum.
who are you talking to?
He's a bub, he's a job. Oh, they are. The other pictures are gone now.
Right. Dale, Anthony, I'm falling asleep.
Sure, man. Hey, mate, I'm in a bit of a snooze here. I'm snoozing. You know when you're snoring and
Squeezing the cocaine up your nose.
yeah, no. Hey, if I used to take cocaine, mate, I'll keep the panel going. Cocaine in your brain, and then we say Tony Montana.
Inside in the brain.
Yeah, cocaine in your brain, and then we go.
He's
Tony
got cocaine in his brain.
Hey, I was in your area yesterday.
Brain. Cocaine in his brain.
I was in your area yesterday, and I'm coming back there close by tomorrow. So we'll chat you get me, brother. What you said? Cocaine with the membrane. So, Del, you're not gonna talk, huh? You're gonna talk about records, yeah. Hey, so Rick. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna jump into other topics now. Rick.
Yeah.
One question: why are Brentford so shit?
Well,
why are Brentford so shit?
Question. Why is MT Anthony such a pain in the bum?
No, but ask Brentford, why are they so shit?
They're better in Liverpool.
No chance, never. That will never
Right, MC, I've got to go to sleep, but I'm tired.
Right. All right. Right. Okay,
all right, then I'm letting you go easy. I'm off.
Are you awake, Deb? I thought you was asleep.
No, I'm going, man. I need to go. I need to go.
Well, thank you very much again, Dale.
All right, no problem.
I'll text you tomorrow.
All right. See you later, Anthony. All right, see you
Cheers,
later.
mate. Cheers. Bye, mate. Cheers. Rick, okay, before you go, Brentford are so shit. Why are you so tight?
MC, if you don't shut up, I'll put my fist in right between your chops.
Oh, shut up, you
shut
short
up.
ass.
You're
a short ass. You're short ass, man. Shut up, man. Anyway, Rick, take care, mate. We'll talk soon.
Take care, mate. Thanks for coming on. Thanks again, Dale. See you guys.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed the show.
Brentford
Teddy,
Brentford will always be
Irish. Shut up, MC.
Brentford will always be
Tina, Irish.
Hey, Rick, would you plumb Irish?
Stop being rude.
It's not rude. It's a question. How's that rude?
Irish
Are you
is
mad?
not rude.
Are you stupid, mate? How's that rude? Would you plumb
I'm
Irish?
old enough to be a father.
Oh, shut up, you little dickhead. You see, now you're being rude, you dickhead.
I'm old enough to be a father. What's
You're a
that?
dick. Anyway, would you plumb Irish, yes or no?
No, I'm not saying nothing like that. Stop it.
Anyway, Rick, Irish, get out. Fucking. Anyway, no, I won't say nothing to her. Irish, you need some hood. Yeah, man.
That's it.
Cheers.
That's
Bye.
it.
Rick,
it's Irish. Come up and fight him.
Irish, what size do you like? Medium, large, or small? Rick, take care. We talk tomorrow, yeah?
I ain't got to stay for a minute, MC.
No. Hey, I'm not. I have to talk to my nephew in the morning, mate.
Irish is going to come on the panel. She wants words with you.
Oh, if you jump it on. Okay. If she jumps on, then I'll wait.
She ain't. I'm only joking.
Irish, do you like it medium, large, or small? Which one? You're going to tell me to fuck off. I know. And it's all right. It's fine. I don't mind. Okay, Rick. So Brentford will stay shit like you are shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shut up.
When's your cheap striker coming back? When's your fucking cheap Tony coming back? He doesn't know. Because he might be sold to the next club by the time he comes back. Yeah, man. Anyway, Rick, bro, take it easy. Irish, I keep telling you, learn how to make a nice rice and stew. And then we talk after that, yeah? Oh my gosh, Quantumania. I'm going to listen to Old School Garage for the next half an hour, then I'm going to bed. Rick, take care, mate. Rick,
later.
spit 2 bars. Come on, 2 bars. See you later. With a little bit of luck, you can make it through the day.
Tina, that is the same person in that chat was using Irish Flame today. So I wonder what he's using his name.
Tina Turner. Is that Tina Turner's wannabe or something? Anyway, Rick, take care, bro. I'm okay. Let me end the call. Cheers, mate. Talk
See you
tomorrow,
later.
yeah?
Bye-bye.